What can you tell me about these two teams, DRF?
Yeah, so ITAP, as we have seen before, they have been competing in a lot of different tournaments just as a single unit of students from Purdue. And UCLA Bruins is kind of a bit of a pickup. This is the first time that they are playing together as a single team. So it's going to be kind of an interesting matchup here to see if the Purdue's just familiarity with each other kind of comes out on top against this kind of UCLA pickup.
Should definitely be a fun one as we load onto tower control on New Albacore Hotel. Of course, New Albacore Hotel, one of those maps where a little bit more range is going to help you out. And it looks like we might see a little bit of coming out on the UCLA side with the 96 Gal Daco, as well as the K Pro, but already a disconnection on the side of the Boilermakers.
Yeah, so it looks like Purdue is going to go ahead and just let UCLA take the quick knockout on this one.
You'll really hate to see that. At least we
Excellent
get to
start.
start off. Hey, at least we get to start off with a little bit of a sword party, right?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's always good. Start things off. Everyone's in a good mood here. So yeah, DRF, since you are a little bit more on board with the Collegiate Cephalopod Association, why don't you tell me how this kind of organization came to be, why it was founded, and why we're here today?
Yeah, of course. So as we get the squid party going here, yeah, the Collegiate Cephalopod Association was kind of just an idea that came about between the students at UC San Diego and Purdue. So UC San Diego, we ended up forming our Splatoon club, probably like January 2019, and then we a few months later found out that hey, Purdue also has a bunch of Squid Game fans over there as well. So we kind of got in touch with each other. We've always been conversing, and this idea was always kind of in the back of our heads. But a few months ago, we finally decided, you know what? There's definitely more college students out there that are playing this game. So let's go ahead and start reaching out to them, and let's make something happen. Because I mean, there's all these sorts of collegiate esports. It'd be really cool if we could get something going for Splatoon. Obviously, Splatoon is more of a niche game compared to a lot of the other collegiate esports, but we thought the idea was really cool. So we figured, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Let's see what students we can pull in together here, and let's have some fun. Let's kind of create this environment for college students that played Splatoon 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're here today. Of course, we have 8 teams complete. Some of them are it's actually about half and half between teams that are fully consistent of one school representing one school and 4 pickups consisting of different colleges and universities all across not only the nation, but we also have a pickup team consisting of people from the United Kingdom coming on in to join us as well for this event. So definitely fun stuff to see as we move on forward. And of course, as a little bit of a collegiate esports person myself, super excited to see something like this come together. Of course, Splatoon has been in my background for the past 5 years now. Speaking of being in my background for the past 5 years, shout outs to competitive Splatoon turning 5 years old as of yesterday. I imagine a
Wow.
lot of people saw my tweet, but we're officially 5 years old. It was 5 years to yesterday where the very first tournament started, and of course, so it's a little fun. We're now on to working on year 6 of competitive Splatoon. So great stuff to see, and we're starting off right here with a little bit more trying to attract that collegiate audience. And of course, there are all different kinds of people coming from all different kinds of skill levels in this tournament, DRF.
Yeah, most definitely. So we have people that kind of just came out of the woods to enter this tournament. They haven't really been integrated with the Splatoon community in a while because they really just didn't have that community. So now that CCA has started to develop a little bit more, this is going to be their community now. So this is an excellent opportunity for them to get back into this game, get back into the community, and take the next step in trying to be a little bit more competitive with this game if they so wish.
And that competition starts right here. Rush Weekend, round 1 between Inkling Technology at Purdue and the UCLA Bruins. We are back on the Tower of Hotel, and we haven't seen a DC yet. So let's hope that this game stands as told. Of course, Aster going to go ahead. Aster, I believe one of those people that's a little bit more of a beacon specialist. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that is absolutely true. We are going to see plenty of beacons coming out from Aster here as the game goes on, and he's going to be doing a lot of jumping. That is most definitely true. So we'll see how many beacon jumps he does get in here.
Robin is going to go ahead and pick off that sploosh here, and so that push will stop for the time being for Inkling Technology at Purdue, but a nice busy bomb coming in from the other side of the map from this Tensis launching machine makes a 3-down situation for the Bruins, and Purdue might have an ability here to continue a little bit of a push after get a little bit more in control of the middle of the map back. That is going to be another one going down here, and is going to be met with the Dynamo Roller on the other side, but at the very least, the Boilermaker is going to be able to clear this first check.
Oh yeah, and we see here that Vanessa, people might be more familiar with Vanessa from Illmatic, rocking that Dynamo Roller here, trying to stop this push on the tower from Purdue, gain back control a little bit of the map, and see if they can start turning it the other way.
The bomb is going to be thrown. And you know, this is one of those kind of like power positions for the Dynamo, right? It's not exactly like the most safe position in the world, but from that little vantage point there, you're able to get a lot of ink back down and a lot of ink control, apply a lot of pressure on the map as that Dynamo Roller. But speaking of pressure on the map, we see the Stingray coming in from the other side from E. Wong here, able to pick off one assist and get a little bit more damage onto someone else. It's another 2-down situation for the Bruins, and right now, the Boilermakers doing a good job overall. It's just making sure that they're not giving up their ground at all. They're winning these fights, and ultimately, it's ended in UCLA not being able to find much of a push.
Yeah, most definitely here. But as you say that, one member does go down from Ice Tap, and we see the Booyah Bomb coming out, trying to just push UCLA back into their own base here. But once again, the push slows down right where it did last time.
Going to stall here, but we are going to see Mizuno pick up one. It's going to try to retreat back here a little bit, just to try to avoid going down. Of course, was very weak, and now it's going to use a little bit more of that range from the Kensa Splatter Shot Pro to pick off one, and is looking for more. But of course, none of the other members of Purdue are around for the time being, so it'll be a nice push down to that second checkpoint, down to 52. And right now, I mean, quite honestly, that's all that Purdue really needs at this stage in the game, especially considering how much control of the middle of the map they've had over the course of this entire game. We'll see if UCLA can start building this up, but Nessa goes down to a bomb. That's actually another one down as well for the Bruins, and this game state pretty much just going to continue stalling out here in favor of Purdue. It's a 3-down situation, and yeah, Mizuno just going to continue running this tower. Again, another 3 down. Aster overextends here a little bit, but a bomb going to connect with the Dynamo Roller. Cleared this second checkpoint, looking good for Purdue.
Oh yeah, most definitely here. They're going to do a lot of damage here that UCLA is going to have a really tough time making up with just under a minute and a half left here to go in game number 1. So we see 2 down once again for UCLA, and it looks like Purdue's going to be able to ride this one out for the easy KO.
And they're going to do just that. They're going to go up 1-0 overall. And I mean, I think a little bit of that, right, was just perhaps a little bit better coordination from the side of Purdue, right? A lot of these players are very comfortable playing with one another and have been playing with one another for, what, like a year or so now? Magic can chime in my ear. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying that close attention, but 8 months. Okay, about 2/3 of a year. So close enough. The point is, these members of Inkling Technology at Purdue have certainly played with one another for a while. And you mentioned that UCLA was a little bit of a pickup, so they're probably just getting used to playing with one another here. And so in the first round, they might be struggling a little bit on that team synergy.
Yeah, so they're definitely going to want to kind of start to figure this out quickly. I mean, it is a best-of-5 set, so who knows, that first game might have just been the wake-up call that they needed, and hopefully they'll start to figure things out here. But there are only 3 Swiss rounds, followed by a top 4 cut. So there's not a lot of room for error if you want to get into that top cut. And I guess we'll take this opportunity and talk a little bit about prizing. That there is a $100 prize pool on the line for first place. So they're definitely going to want in on that. We are all poor college students here.
Definitely. So these teams, of course, vying for that as we continue moving on forward. But moving on forward in this set, we are going to be seeing Rainmaker on Inkblot Art Academy. Inkblot's always the way I always boil down Inkblot Art Academy is you can tell which team is convincingly winning by who has control of the opponent's plat. And of course, by that I mean there's a little bit of an area that's decent ways away from your spawn, but also kind of feeds right on into the mid. If your opponent has control of your side of the map, basically, that's when your opponent's going to start racking up these large number pushes. And that could really mean any mode on Inkblot Art Academy, but it is true here as well for Rainmaker. We'll see which team opts to go for that ink control strategy more as we move on forward.
Yes, sir. So here we go with game number 2. UCLA looking for a little bit of redemption here after getting knocked out in game 1. So let's see if Rainmaker will be any better for them as this pickup team tries to figure out exactly what they need to do in order to take down Inkling Technology at Purdue.
Looks like we already see a bit of strong ink coverage here early on for Purdue, but perhaps a little bit overstepping now. Indeed, Nessa is as well. Is not surprised to get that pick, but it's not going to be the case. 3 down for Purdue as Robin's going to pick up this Rainmaker, but the Stinger is going to come back the other direction to stall this out in its tracks. Very well played by Ewong there. Just stay back and have that Stingray right on time for the proper defense.
Yes, perfectly timed right there, and all teams back at full strength. Oh, Nessa goes down right as I say that, and 3 down for UCLA. Purdue's gonna get the counter push here. If they're gonna be able to do a lot of damage, and UCLA's gonna have to try to make something of this.
Nessa
stop
goes
the
down.
bleeding.
Aster is going to continue stepping forward here, now approaching the pedestal. You have to start splatting this Rainmaker and down to the 1 point mark. That's a near knockout. As the pot's going to come in for Purdue, they're going to find that knockout, and they are going to go up 2-0 in the set.
Wow. Talk about a very quick counter push there. UCLA looked like they might have had the upper hand within the first 20-30 seconds there, but ITAP managed to collect themselves really quickly and do an excellent job of just wiping UCLA and taking that counter push all the way to the end, securing that KO in game number 2.
And again, once Inkling Technology at Purdue had plenty of ink control towards that pedestal, I mean, the numbers took away very quickly on a lot of Rainmaker maps, but especially true on Inkblot Art Academy when you start getting closer and closer to that pedestal is those numbers will quickly go down to 0 if you're not careful, especially if you have all of the ink control and all of the room to move around the map as you see fit. So well done to the Boilermakers there. They're going to go up 2-0 in the set, and they're going to go to set point as we head on to Splat Zones Piranha Pit.
Yes, so Splat Zones Piranha Pit. Oh man, this is going to be a fun one as well. I remember seeing this exact matchup watching Vanessa during Inkstorm playing on this one with her Dynamo. Those ramps are going to be absolute key for Nessa to try to, take a firm position over those zones as with both zones there, that's going to be a pretty good spot in terms of just trying to keep the other teams out of the area and trying to hopefully secure those zones and let that timer run as long as possible.
Yeah, of course, the name of the game in zones is making sure that you're holding on to those small little rectangles for as much time as possible. And that Dynamo is going to be able to put out a lot of ink onto these zones if it gets set up in proper positions. We'll be looking to see if Nessa can do that for the Bruins this time around. Aster going to swap on over to the ink brush here to provide a little bit more mobility, to provide a little bit more burst damage onto the zones. So that should be crucial here. And as well is going to be running around the map quite a bit here, and perhaps might be a little bit annoying for some of these members of the Bruins to put up with.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just that agility that's absolutely key for Aster. We haven't seen a whole lot of the beacons coming out quite yet, because sometimes when Aster utilizes those beacons, it can get pretty crazy. But definitely bringing out that brush is gonna definitely make this just a little bit more annoying.
A little bit more annoying, and you already see how much ink control right now that the Purdue has, but we start to see the push back in as Albert was able to get that bomb rush on his own. Now he's going to actually just run right by Ewong. Now that charger looks like going to jump out. The Tanabella's way over there on useless, and it should provide the opportunity for the UCLA Bruins to paint both of these zones. They're not fully capping the zones right now due to the pressure of Purdue, and that is going to be the cap going back on over to the Boilermakers as they continue moving on forward. That's a 3-down situation as Mizuno comes up with 2. Very well done there in order to continue extending this lead for Purdue.
Yes. Oh, and there we go. Another pick from Mizuno right on Vanessa there. And Purdue just got pretty much just a death grip on this right now. It's going to be pretty tough for UCLA to kind of get back together here. They're just constantly going down one at a time right now. So they're going to really have to find a way to collect themselves and make just one solid push together here if they really want a chance to try to take back this lead.
Mizuno now in the front line is going to be able to get 2. The brush is going to come on up to clean one another up. And that's going to be another 3-down situation for the Bruins. Look at how much yellow ink is on the map in favor of the Boilermakers. 18 ticks of the timer left to go here before they are going to come away with the game. And it looks like UCLA hasn't found a way to push back in yet. The ink armor comes out. I want to see them start to step forward. They're trying to cap at least one of the zones. Here comes the splash on jump right on top of the zone. It's not going to be enough to fully neutralize. Ewong is going to go down there to the Dynamo. It's a 2-down situation for the Boilermakers. And there is finally, at the very least, the zone's cap in favor of the Bruins in order to stall out the time and extend this game a little while on.
Yeah, that is exactly what they needed to happen there. They're going to go ahead and try to get both zones back, but UCLA has 2 members down once again. So it looks like this is going to turn out to be more of a stall than a push, which works out just fine as well for now. But they are going to need to kind of get something together here. And as we see Aster going down, Zenith trying to get the second pick. Zenith with a double now. Excellent work there. So, but they're still not capping the zones quite yet. They're like always just borderline on both zones. So they really need to get both these zones down. There we go with the Booyah Bomb securing the zones once again.
It's another 2-down situation for the Boilermakers as well. So even though there's 2 on the other side, UCLA should have seen that. They're actually able to put a little bit of pressure onto the zone position they're in, especially given that Tanabella's is there. Ink Armor is going to come out as they continue to try to get ink on this zone. That is going to be the case here for the side of the Bruins right now. Ewong's going to try to step forward here on the charger. Now he's going to pop the baller to pick off Nessa, who is just slightly out of position there, trying to be a little bit more aggressive. But that's the risk you run when you try to be aggressive with a Dynamo roller. You can very quickly get touched.
Oh man, yes indeed. So now we see Ewing here rocking that charger, just doing his best, staying stealthily behind that ramp, ensuring that that right zone is going to be just secure for Purdue. But here we see, oh man, one person going down inside UCLA and Ewing barely escaping that bomb. The Booyah Bomb coming out to re-secure that zone once again.
Booyah Bomb's going to come on out here, and right now it's control of the zone on over to the Boilermakers with a minute left to go in the game. They're quickly working through their penalty, but the UCLA Bruins have to start to step forward. Any trade right now that happens is going to be in favor of Purdue, as we are running to the lower parts of pretty much all time. We are going to see the caps going on back over to the Bruins as Netza comes up with 1. Incomer is popped here, and now Netza going to continue trying to step forward with this Dynamo roller, putting pressure on this far side of the map, is trying to win the 2v1, but is going to get taken down there by Mizuno. Another trade going in favor of the Boilermakers. 2-down situation right now for the Bruins. And again, we're not seeing them really apply as much pressure to the zones as I would like to see overall. A bomb is going to pick off that jump coming in. And Aster's going to play that beautifully. The Tenebrella is going to continue putting in pressure here for Purdue. It's doing an excellent job of locking down one of these zones. The Bruins just have not been able to build up a strong push so far. With 4 seconds to go, I don't think they're going to be given the opportunity to. Somehow that ended in a trade. That's going to be what seals the deal for Inkling Technology at Purdue. They're going to go up 3-0 in the second.
Wow, excellent job by Purdue there. So I definitely think that this was a much better game for UCLA. I think they started to kind of figure out a little bit better of how they needed to play with each other. So it was definitely a step in the right direction for them. So we'll just have to hope and see that they're able to carry that on for future sets. So this was definitely a bit of a rough start for UCLA, but we'll see what they can do from here.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see where exactly this team of the Bruins could go from here, of course. for what it's worth, looking at the other results that happened, Rainbow Sparkling Unicorns is the UK group. They went up 3-0 over Tide Pool, which is a pickup consisting of a multitude of different collegiate students. 9 plus 10 won 3-0 over Star Squid Crusaders, and Triton Splatoon went 3-0 over the San Diego Splashdown. The name is cut off
Splash
on my
text.
screen. Splash Text. All right.
Yes.
So, in that little rivalry in San Diego, the the Triton Splatoon squad is going to come out on top. But 3-0s across the board so far in round one, which is just going to set us up for potentially more exciting stuff as we continue moving forward in the Swiss stage here. And I don't think any team is completely out of it yet. Of course, if you continue making 3-0 runs, there's a very likely chance that you end up in that top 4 cut. But of course, we'll have to see where everything ends up at the end of the day.
Yes.
Believe with that, we are going to be heading to a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with round 2 at Rush Weekend here at the Collegiate Cephalopod Association.
And welcome back, everybody. We are here with our very next set. We are going to be looking at Tidepool versus the Star Squid Crusaders.
Should be a good one here. Both of these teams are teams that have found each other through the Collegiate Cephalopod Association. Okay, so background. Anytime I hear CCA, I've been involved in collegiate esports now for like 2 years. So anytime I hear CCA, I'm immediately thinking College Carball Association and not Collegiate Cephalopod Association. But I digress. Both these teams have found each other in the Discord server here, and they are playing together for this tournament for the first time. So 2 pickup squads should be a fun one, exactly to see what kinds of things these players all have in store for us. Of course, if you want to join the Discord server, you see the link there on screen. Go on ahead and come on by. It's always nice to build up community, and even if you're not a college student, we'd love to have you stop by the Discord server and be involved with the community as a guest. And yeah, would certainly love to have you on all by.
Yes. And I swear we looked everywhere to see if there was any sort of CCA before deciding on the official name.
And I guess you guys could have consulted me first, huh?
Yeah, once you came along, it was like, College Carball. And we're like, darn it, Carball.
All right. Anyway, so I just rub my hands back and forth together because I am have always been a fan of Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park. It's one of those maps where, first of all, arguably one of the more balanced maps for Rainmaker in general, but right now in its current state. But it's basically a straight shot onto the pedestal. You know exactly how many more points there are to go. There's none of these windy turns or anything like that. So it's very straightforward here. Just get to the opponent's pedestal to knock out the Rainmaker. And this could be one of those that can go very back and forth on the small map that is Blackbelly Skate Park.
Yes, and here we see starting out that we have, who is this? Currently in yellow, that would be the Star Squid Crusaders in yellow. And we have Tidepool in purple. So Tidepool going to go ahead and grab that Rainmaker and manage to get a pick off right there. Excellent work by Becky so far. Going to take that left alley there. So definitely a little bit of a risky choice there, given that there's only so much movement you can have when you're going down that direction.
They're coming on up, though, and they're quickly approaching the pedestal. It's a 3-down situation for the yellow squad. Becky's going to continue moving on forward. The bomb's going to stop out that Rainmaker, and a nice collateral coming in from Chris on that charger. That'll be enough to stop the push at the 14-point mark.
Wow, yes, that came in exactly when it needed to. It looked like that it was going to be all but over there, but the charger coming out just in time in order to stop that push there. So now we're going to see the Star Squid Crusaders going ahead and taking back the Rainmaker and starting to make a pretty decent push here.
Is able to pick off one here, and the defense is going to hold for the time being. The ton of missiles are going to come on out, and it is a 3-down situation. So that should be the end of this push, as Muzi Maniac now going to come on forward. But the jumps have started to come in here for the opposing side. They're trying to get a little bit more contention around this Rainmaker. A nice splashdown actually is going to land on 2. It's going to allow the Rainmaker to get picked up, but it's not going to be enough to get nearly down to the 14-point mark of the opposing side, though they are going to try to maintain pressure. Stingray's going to come on out. The pop is going to come through. Gunmilk is going to try to swim through this toxic mist, but is going to get taken out. But yet still, 2-down situation for the purple squad. Lyric going to go ahead, continue stepping forward here. Now trying to approach this pedestal, is going to be able to take the lead down to 4 points. 2-down situation on both sides, but I imagine this isn't quite over. Purple squad is going to go ahead and pick this up, finally get it at least down, and now we can breathe perhaps just a little bit, but they have to be careful as here comes some of the members of Yellow Ink. The Zimmy is going to go ahead and get one, but is going to get taken out in the process. Very consistent pressure coming in from this yellow side here, Kira.
Yeah, and Tidepool going 3 members down right there. So we'll kind of see what the Star Squid Crusaders can do at this point. Just constantly applying some pressure here. As of right now, it's completely been flipped on its head. Star Squid Crusaders, it's all their game right now. So Tidepool's going to have to really figure out what they're going to need to do here in order to really take back the map control, because there's a lot of yellow out there right now. And they're going to have to, looks like they're going to try to go for the Rainmaker reset, which they've managed to successfully do.
Barely. Starbuck's going to get caught between that grading there, but is able to pick off that one onto Glitchy. But doesn't really matter that much because the Crusaders are going to be able to pick up this Rainmaker. It is going to get stopped here, but it's just a little bit more of a stalling tactic as we are in a little bit more of a neutral game state on the whole. That Rainmaker is still sitting in the middle. Now Starbuck going to try to play a little bit more aggressive here, trying to pick off Chris on this Stingray. Not going to be able to do that, but okay, actually, Chris is going to be able to turn around with a little bit of the help of Good Milk to try to defend this push. It's a 2-down situation right now for the Crusaders. They're going to have to be a little bit more careful as that Rainmaker is going to be picked up by Tidepool moving on forward. They're continuing to try to shove it down the half-life. They're not quite able to do that. Good Milk's going to pop this hammer. Now he's going to move forward, look for a couple more picks. Is able to find one. Going to continue stepping forward. Able to find a second with that hammer toss.
Wow, that's an excellent hammer toss there. Good Milk now gonna take the Rainmaker as well, but facing a 1v1 situation with the Rainmaker, we see a trade. So 2 members down on the side of Tidepool with Lyric trying to push up a little bit in order to have that Rainmaker safely popped. See if they were able to pick this up here. Oh no, Lyric goes down themselves. But the Rainmaker is going to go ahead and try to take a bit of a central push here, and it goes down very quickly. It's going to be Tidepool's chance to try to go ahead and pick up that Rainmaker again and try to regain a little bit of map control. It looks like Music Maniac's going to start to try to go that right alley right now. Nobody's really in sight, so it might actually work out for a little bit here. Oh!
Doesn't have the support of the rest of the team, and it's going to get taken down by 2 of the members of the Crusaders. They're now in position around this Rainmaker to continue stalling things out. Steelheart going to get taken out, or actually this could be 1-for-1 trade. Is going to pick up the Rainmaker. That's actually a 2-down situation. They're just going to continue moving on forward, but they don't really need to. 1 second left to go, and that is going to be the victory coming away for the Star Squid Crusaders.
Wow. All right. Well, excellent game 1 there from these 2 teams. Just within the first minute or 2 there, it looked like it was going to be completely Tidepool's game, but the Star Squid Crusaders managed to pretty securely just take that Rainmaker, completely flip this game on its head, and make a solid push all the way to the 4-point mark there, and secure game number 1.
Yeah, talking about that push, I really loved the relentless nature that was coming out from that side on that specific push. They were always constantly trying to apply pressure, trying to continue just being a nuisance even around that Rainmaker was huge. Focusing on trying to get that Rainmaker pop to give themselves a little bit more in control moving on forward. And all the pieces just kind of snapped in there when that 4-point push came to fruition, exactly because eventually everyone was able to be on the same cycle and they were all able to apply pressure around that Rainmaker. So well done there to the Star Squid Crusaders. They're going to go up 1-0 in the set. As now we head to Splat Zones on Starfish main stage.
Yes, Splat Zones on Starfish main stage here. This will definitely continue to just be kind of an interesting match here. The Starfish main stage, you gotta have to make a. The zone is a little bit of a ways away from your spawn point here, so it's definitely, if you can get a good chunk of people down on the other team, you're gonna be able to do a decent amount of damage on that tick, the zone ticker there. So we'll be able to see who's gonna get a good grip on this zone early on. So, and I think that's gonna end up being what kind of dictates this match here.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what comes out. Of course, Sloshing Machine Neo on one side, and we didn't mention this the first time, but Glitchy going to go ahead and stick with the Aerospray PG, opting for the Booyah Bomb special coming out of that one.
Yes, and we see here that Tidepool is going to go ahead and grab the first zone clutch here, but immediately the Star Squid Crusaders go ahead and reclaim that zone for themselves instead. And it looks like that they're going to be able to do a lot of damage here, and a lot of back and forth just immediately as Tidepool regains the zone once again.
Able to regain the zone, but we'll have to see exactly for how long. So it looks like they're finally able to step a little bit further forward. Booyah Bomb going to get thrown on the zone from Collegiate on that air spray, but it's going to get taken out immediately after another Booyah Bomb trying to follow up from the Kensa Pro, but is going to be able to find one in the aftermath, and that is going to be the zone switching back over in favor of the Star Squid Crusaders. They're going to continue moving on forward, but you notice they're not like stepping forward per se and taking complete control over the entire map, but now that might come back to bite them. They didn't have a lot of room to run, and the 10 missiles come in, rain down from above, right on with them. The zone flips back in favor of Tide.
Yes, and now we see Tidepool going 2 members down. So this is going to be the Star Squid Crusaders' chance to recap this zone here, which they successfully do. But we see a bomb rush now coming out on the side of Tidepool, but it is shut down immediately by Lyric. And we see the one-on-one of Splatlings here as Lyric goes down once again, and the Star Squid Crusaders go 2 down, but they regain the lead here. But it's going to be Tidepool's chance to reclaim this zone with that Booyah Bomb right there. And we see some jumps coming in that are probably going to get shut down, and they do.
Becky able to land that splashdown onto at least one, get, I think, a little bit more ink damage onto the other Squid Kid there, and they're going to continue moving on forward here. They have control of the zones. They're looking to try to take the lead, but they have to be careful. The Booyah Bombs and the Snipes are going to start to come in. Stop 1 point difference. The Steelheart pops his bomb rush to try to get a little bit more ink on the zone. That is going to be the lead going on over to Tidepool. Let's see how much longer they can hold on to it. As a matter of fact, it might be decently long because now the other team is exhausted on specials. They're the ones that are going 2 down right now, and even though this bomb rush was popped on the zone, it's going to be completely neutralized by that Booyah Bomb, and Tidepool quickly building up momentum in this game.
Yeah, it is. Momentum is completely in Tidepool's favor right now, as the Star Squid Crusaders are starting to scramble a little bit to try to recap this zone. They managed to get at least a bit of a stall here, but they still have 2 members down, and it looks like with 5 ticks left, it is completely Tidepool's zone, and it is also their game, and that is the end of game number 2 in this set.
What on a Tidepool to equalize things out, and that's exactly kind of what I was highlighting there at the last little point of that game was and there was 1 point there where they were just able to kind of hold on thanks to perhaps a little bit of a lack of special coordination push coming out of the Star Squid Crusaders, right? You saw that they had a couple of Booyah Bombs, but they just threw the Booyah Bombs on his own. They weren't able to follow up with supplemental ink, because while the Booyah Bombs are decent for kind of pushing people around the map, they're much like the ink storm in that the opposing team can very quickly ink right on over exactly what's left behind by those Booyah Bombs. And so there wasn't the support there from the rest of the team to continue pushing on forward. The next thing you know, it's still your opponents that have control of the zone, and now they're starting to be a little more aggressive. You're in a 2-down situation, and that's where the game started to fall apart there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what they're able to come up with here on game number 3. We're gonna take a look at some Clamblets on Snapper Canal. Oh man, this is a fun one. I know for me personally, I definitely actually enjoyed this map mode combination. I know that this one's a bit of a spotty one. I think we actually had a debate in our staff chat earlier about how good this map mode combination is. So what are your thoughts on this one, K-Bot?
I think on Clamblitz, personally, I don't have very many thoughts. I'm just your friendly neighborhood tournament organizer and commentator. But what I will say is that I believe Snapper Canal is one of the more generally liked ones. And one of the reasons for that, I think, is that it is very... the clan barriers are not very far from the mid. So there's kind of a massive mid area, but the clan barriers in the baskets aren't necessarily super far away from anything. It's a little bit more of a compact map, and it's not that difficult to try and get in and get a push going here on Snapper. And now we already see trading in mid as some of these rushes are starting to meet each other. Becky going to try to jump away from the shots of Chris on this charger and is able to do that successfully, but already exactly what I'm talking about, a power clam in the basket, but it doesn't quite look like there's a ton of follow-up here coming in from the Star Crusaders side. They do get a couple of clams in, but it's not really going to be a massive push. As a matter of fact, this may very well play in favor of the Crusaders, who are now going to be able to pick up an extra power clam to their name and might be able to make a push to it.
Yeah, most definitely. So, well, we already see the missiles coming out from Music Maniac right there. But both teams are currently at full strength here. So Starbit rocking with the Mini here, and possesses currently a power clam. Going for the jump, but the jump is a little bit too far from the basket. And Starbit's not going to be able to do anything with that clam there, as the Tide Pool team goes fully down, and it looks like that the Squid Crusaders are going to be able to do a little bit of damage of their own once again.
They're trying to. Larry's going to finally step forward here, but now there's only 2 members up right now, and they are going to immediately get taken down by Becky there. So the one thing I wanted to comment on by that jump is, sure, it was also a little bit further away from the basket, but you were also jumping in where there was only one other member of your team alive. So that was almost a little bit doomed from the start there. Unfortunately, that's the risk you run when you try to use those super jumps. Now, Steelheart, kind of caught off guard here, is going to get painted over the wall, and Lyric's going to go ahead and take care of business there on that sploosh. Splashdown comes out. Lyric has a splashdown of their own and is just going to secure this power claim for the time being. Another splashdown coming right on top of that to take care of business. Lyric has 4 clams, but it's a 3-down situation of the opposing side. So look at how much map control right now that this yellow squad has. They're going to be able to move on forward, hopefully pick up a power claim and start to score, but their window is quickly expiring, and it doesn't look like it exists any longer. They're going to have to break back in if they want to get another score.
Oh, and we see a trade here between the K-Pro and the Brush. So 2 members down on the side of the Star Squid Crusaders. So will Tide Pool be able to capitalize on this? It doesn't look like they're in the position to do so at this time. But here we go. We see Lyric kind of just going back and forth here. Oh, bring out the splashdown, take down Steelheart. Gonna pick up all of those clams that just scattered about. Oh, and another splashdown coming out once again. It seems like a very splashdown happy match so far.
Splashdown City in this game between these 2 teams, but neither team has really done a lot of scoring. I would like to see those splashdowns come on in with super jumps on bushes moving on forward. I wonder if that would help play into what these teams are trying to do. Stinger's going to come on out to try to apply a little more pressure for the Crusaders as they try to step forward. Good Milk has a power clamp, but there isn't a ton else to speak of on the other side. There is going to be one going down, and it is going to be in control, still in favor of Tide Pool here, as now that step forward is completely denied. Again, no map control right now underneath the basket for the side of the Crusaders. And now it's Tide Pool that want to try to build up some advantage here, at least in terms of map control, at least in terms of clams. They're going to have to win a fight before they break on into the zone, or break on into the barrier. And I want to see a little bit more high scoring from one of these.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And we see 2 members going down from the Star Squid Crusaders. And it looks like a bunch of scattered clams right now. We do have 1 power clam coming out. Starbit bringing out that Booyah Bomb. See if they can get a push here, and it looks like they'll finally get their opportunity. And they managed to get the power clam in, but can they capitalize on this? Yes, they do. Regaining the lead, but with 3 members going down, this push is most definitely over.
Most definitely over, but at the very least, there's a window of opportunity here on the other side. It's worth noting, actually, the side of the Crusaders right now only need 1 power clam in the basket to win the game. They don't need a massive push. That's all their win condition is, because it wasn't that extremely large of a push on the other side of the map. Good Milk has a power clam. Glitchy has 1, but Starbit's going to go ahead and take down both of them off of that ink rail. It's a 3-down situation right now for the Crusaders. The last one's the Stingray in spawn. That's going to be map control going completely back on over to Tide Pool. As Starbit continues to try to step forward, continues to try to put a little bit more pressure, but it's going to get taken down by a Splat Bomb. Or actually, no, that was Chris on the Charger. 6 seconds left to go. I want to see another power clam force to force the overtime, but right now they don't quite have one. Booyah Bomb comes on in, and because the power clam was not spawned, they do not force overtime, and that is the game going on over to Tide Pool.
Wow. Yes. Yeah, Tide Pool did an excellent job there of, finally collecting themselves in, the 11th hour of the match here in order to just get that 1 push they were looking for all match long. So they were finally able to get that and, managed to just hold off the other team long enough to put in just enough clams to get that lead. So therefore, they're going to go ahead and take game number 2 here. And yeah, I mean, it was just kind of unfortunate there. I just don't think the Star Squid Crusaders had the coordination necessary. They had the clams in order to just get 1 more power clam. We saw, I forgot who it was, but one of their players had 8 clams. And they just weren't able to pick up the last 2 that were necessary. So.
And that's the sort of thing where having people I mean, first of all, that's one of the risks you run when you have a power clam, right? It's basically an echolocator. Your
Yeah.
enemies can see exactly where you are on the map. But in addition, perhaps trying to approach from two different angles, providing a little bit more variety, trying to set up your uh, maybe Chris on that charger to try to play a little bit more aggressive, try to step forward, try to get that pick onto Starbit to make sure that that shutdown doesn't happen. But we're immediately heading on into the tower control game. Of course, it's Tidepool that is up 2-1 right now in the set. They're looking to close it out on Skipper Pavilion tower control. What do you see here, Tierra?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and see. So far, both teams kind of just taking different angle approaches to trying to get to this tower here. Oh, goodness, and the quality on my end has just dropped, so I'm not able to actually see any sort of names right now. I'll hand this back to you.
The K-Pro is going to continue stepping on forward here, but it looks like the tower is very neutral going back and forth. Actually, the other thing, I believe that is a vanilla splatter shot throw on the other side. I believe that's Storm Special. I could be wrong. Yeah, I was just told confirmed Inkstorm point sensor in my head. So my gut reaction was right. But a lot of what we're seeing so far in this match is very neutral trading in the middle of the map. Both these teams go on one splat or two splats or something to that effect. It's Tidepool right now that I would say has a little bit more control as they had a little bit more of the squid advantage, but they're still not going to fully be able to capitalize on that as now the flank comes in from the top side for Good Milk here on this K-Pro. It's going to be Starbit jumping out. Now control has completely shifted back into for the Star Squid Crusaders.
Yes, and we see Starbit now kind of bringing out that Stingray to try to just take the pressure, or apply pressure to that tower so that the Star Squid Crusaders cannot push anymore, but it only works for just a few seconds there as the Star Squid Crusaders regain that tower momentarily, just making a push inch by inch, it seems.
Inch by inch, neither one of these teams fully able to get past this first checkpoint, but it looks like the Crusaders trying to do that now, but they can't quite find it past all of this purple ink that's currently getting put on the area. They're not going to be able to find that. Actually, Starbit goes down. So that's a two-down situation, and this push might continue for the Crusaders. We are going to see a couple going down. They are going to be able to take the lead. Can they hold on to this tower for long enough? It looks like they are going to be able to do just that. Finally past the first checkpoint, and finally a decent-sized push for one of these two teams, and it actually might continue now. The Stingray comes on out. It's a two-down situation still for Tidepool. Starbit's forced to back away here a little bit more, but actually the pressure has not been kept up right now by the Crusaders. They backed off a little bit. Now they're finally looking to remount that, but that's given them enough time for Starbit to charge the Stingray, and there it is, right on the tower. It's going to shut down this push.
Yeah, so this push is mostly over for the Crusaders with two members going down, and it looks like that the Tidepool team here is going to be able to regain a little bit of control. Oh, never mind, with the Star Squid Crusaders still trying to make a push inch by inch. I mean, every point counts for them right now. They really want to push this to a game 5 right now, but the Tidepool team here is going to go ahead and continue to push this tower now, and let's see if they can actually regain the lead with two members down on the side of the Crusaders.
Oh, have to be careful of this flank. Actually, a Stingray pops to try to deal with that, but is completely neglecting the other side of spawn. Looks like they were able to take care of that threat, but they're not able to get the lead so far. It's going to be a trade on top of the towers. Now Becky's going to try to jump on in here to get some work done. The roller's going to come on in. It's a two-down situation for both teams. Very critical here. Becky continuing to move on forward. Can't quite seem to find a pick. Now is going to jump off the tower to try to be a little bit more aggressive, but is now caught off guard, has no ink control, and is going to be forced to back away. 56 points right now for Tidepool. They're looking to try to continue moving forward, but it's the Stingray back the other direction here. Starbit going to try to play a little bit more aggressive. Now it's the Stingray of their own is going to be able to find one on Good Milk, but it gets sniped off of that area by Chris. We'll have to see exactly what continues happening here because the side of Tidepool continuing to move on forward. Chris trying to play a little bit more aggressive, but it's going to be taken down. Starbit jumping on top of the tower. That is going to be the lead going back to the direction. They're not clearing this second checkpoint as of yet. They finally are going to be able to clear it with that jump on the tower. It's a 3-down situation for the Crusaders. And now Lyric is going to try to back off this tower play. Try to get another pick, but it's going to fall there. Down to 37 points right now is this push, and I think that's exactly where it'll be stopped. 37 points is huge, especially this late in the game. Star Squid Crusaders need to win on this next push.
Yes, with 35 seconds remaining on the clock, this is going to be their one chance to really do it. They might be able to just fall back a little bit if needed, but we already see the Booyah Bomb coming out. They're really going to start to just throw out all these specials and go all in on this push right here, right now. One member goes down on the side of the Crusaders. 2 down now, but it's a 2v2 situation. Oh, this is going to be absolutely huge, and they all go down, the Crusaders! Oh no! That is going to be the end of their push, the end of the game, and the end of this match, unfortunately for them, as Tidepool wins this set 3-1. Oh wait,
it's not over yet. The
I called this a tad early.
A little while longer. 3 down though right now for the Star Squid Crusaders. Jump coming back on tower, but all you need to do is step on the tower, and that is finally going to be the game for Tidepool.
Wow.
Looking like the other way could potentially happen, but the Stingray bought enough time for them in order to come back into the map. Well played by Tidepool to take the set 3-1.
Excellent work, yes. Called that almost too early there, but glad that it still held true there, so can't be called a liar on that one. But yes, excellent work there from both teams, putting on an excellent set for us.
Yeah, well done there, and very close back and forth, right? Both of these teams pick up squads, all of collegiate students, and it was a lot of fun to watch them, and a couple of weapon picks that are a little bit more niche picks and a little bit more comfort for some of these players. But a lot of strong things working there, especially Chris on that charger, coming in clutch with that Stinger as well for Tidepool at the end of the game was certainly a lot of fun to see. But before we head on into our Swiss round 3 here at Rush Weekend, we are going to send it to a very short break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with more Collegiate Splatoon action on the other side of this break.
Yes, I am back once again. K-Bot is taking a little bit of a break, but he will be joining Magic for our top cut later on. But we have one more round of Swiss to get through before we get there. And we have a very familiar matchup here between Purdue and UCSD. Oh yeah. This is where it all comes down to this essentially, because the stakes for this match are high. Because both teams being 1-1 right now, only one of them can move on to the top cut. Whoever wins this makes it to top 4, because we have another matchup between UCLA and Tidepool. The winner of that matchup will be joining them in top cut. 9 plus 10 and the Rainbow Sparkly Unicorns have already punched their ticket to that top 4 matchup. But here we are, getting right into game number 1. Oh man, Mofugami is the Splatoon legend at UCSD. We basically just accept that he is the best player that we have on campus. We have yet to find anybody else that can best him. But he loves to run JP tournaments. He'll typically get up at 4:30 in the morning just to join in on some JP tourneys. So yeah, he definitely has a very strong passion for this game, because I don't know about you, I don't think I could get up at 4:30 in the morning to join some Japanese tournaments. Oh. Oh. Man, there was just a glimmer of hope there for ITAP right there, but it just was not enough. There was just too much pressure. Mofugami is lethal on those custom dually squelchers there. It's just really hard to, get by without at least a little bit of chip damage there. But he's gonna hunt you down and make sure that you pay for your sins.
I apologize for being mute during that last set. That one's completely on me. Thank you to everyone in the chat who was helping me out. I'm relatively new to this, so please bear with me. But that was a great that was a great match overall. But you saw UCSD laying down the hammer, saying that, hey, remember us? We're the team that's beaten you twice already. What do you have to say about that?
Man. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot for ITAP to prove here, as they are facing UCSD for the 3rd time. I mean, there's been a couple of other scrims and stuff like that as well that they've engaged in. But yeah, ITAP has yet to be able to deliver against this UCSD team in tournament settings. So this is definitely going to be something for them to prove as we head on into Game 2, which is going to be Clamblitz on Anchovy Games.
Clamblitz on Anchovy. Now, with Clamblitz, there are a couple of ways that open up overall in the routing that you can take to the enemy basket. And so it'll be interesting to see which areas either team decides to put their focus on controlling, because if you lay too much to one side, the other side's going to be left open. You could go through that office space, that office area, that office desk to get a quick push onto the enemy basket, or you could raise those fan run platforms to try and get an advantage, a height advantage on the enemy team. So it'll be interesting to see which side either team decides to take to run towards that enemy basket.
Yep. So we are heading on in here to the second game here. So UCSD, also known as Triton Splatoon, is up 1-0. Let's see if they can continue to just play with that exact aggressive nature that they've utilized in game number 1, and see if they can make something happen here with Clamblitz.
It looks like they're going with just about the same idea on either side, really. Ethan Wang switching to the bamboo on the side of ITAP, and the heavy splatling coming out for UCSD, and we already see one going down on the side of ITAP. A quick foray into the enemy base, and getting another with a suction bomb is Monster John.
Wow.
Oh, he's tearing this team apart, throwing out his suction bombs, making sure his paint control is on point.
Wow, Monster John is actually a monster right now. With that triple kill there, they're just already applying a lot of pressure, but there's not really a lot of clams to back anything up right now. Mofugami going to try to come in here with 9 clams. If he gets them all in, that's going to be even more effective than just one single power clam, and I think he manages to do so. The bleeding is still going here as we see a jump from AZ, and Fizzywitz still putting in a number of clams and still holds on to a number of clams. This push is not over yet for Triton, as Fizzywitz still has 2 more clams. It's not going to be a KO on this first push, and as Fizzywitz jumps back, and this push is finally over. Wow, an 86 clam push from the side of UCSD.
That was absolutely massive. You barely see teams get off that much in one push, but since it was the beginning of the match, there were a lot of clams lying around in wait for the waiting hands of Triton to get a hold of all of those after putting so much paint on the ground. But you see right now, Aster jumping in with that Booyah Bomb. Ewang also jumping in, but isn't able to put in the clams. The entire team of ITAP is going down here. Unfortunately, a sneaky play that almost paid off, but unfortunately UCSD collapsed when they needed to, put some bombs on the ground, and stopped that push dead in its tracks. Only 1 score for ITAP, and they're on the back foot.
Yeah, and we see Monster John here already hanging on to 9 clams. So they're not going to be able to spot him quite yet without that power clam. Just needs 1 more. So he's going to basically try to hold on to these to prevent that free echolocation from starting up and favoring ITAP there. But, oh, Monster John gets tagged anyways by that ink mine, as we see Ethan Wang here with a power clam. But Monster John is a little bit faster and is able to already get that jump in. Ethan Wang having to jump back with that power clam. Might have to toss that to the side. Oh, but he goes down anyways. They manage to finally get Monster John down, but Mofugami coming back in with those custom dueling squelchers rolling around the base, getting a couple clams in, but they're not able to score any more points. But they do reduce their penalty, which will help them for a future push if needed.
There's a DC on the side of Triton Gaming, and this could be a huge turn of the tides for ITAP. I don't think it was early enough in the round for there to be a replay.
This is not according to rules here. They're going to have to play this one out. This is the exact opportunity that ITAP needs, but has Triton already done enough damage that this is irrecoverable from?
They're trying to seal the deal right here with 2 power clams. Mofugami trying to get one in, does not go. Fizzywitz coming down to try and start this push, but is unable to reach the basket. ITAP now has 24 clams and is picking up more and putting paint on the ground to charge up their specials. This could be the definitive push.
Wow.
But Clamblitz 3v4 is not the hardest thing to defend on. It is possible if you can get a couple picks, and Yellow going down right there. There's a stamp and a 10 shield that's being pushed out to help this ITAP push, and 2 go down on the side of UCSD, and 2 more get taken out, and Clams coming in for ITAP. This could be the lead. There's no respawns yet.
Goodness.
There's Clams on the plat. This could be the final push. You only need 3 more Clams. Gay gets taken out underneath the basket, but here comes Aster, gets 1, 2, 3, and that's the game!
Wow.
ITAP does take a game, is able to capitalize on the unfortunate disconnect from UCSD.
That was unfortunate for UCSD right there. So, were we able to see who was that went down? Was it AZN or was that Monster John? I think it was AZN, I want to say.
I think it was AZN.
Yeah.
That's incredibly unfortunate.
All right, who brought up the jammers here?
Are you accusing somebody? Are you accusing somebody of something?
No, I'm not accusing. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Hey now, come on.
You're a rock star.
I will not have my college mantra slandered like this on my own stream, in my own dojo.
Oh man, wow! But talk about just a fortunate series of events for ITAP though. That DC was just absolutely game-changing for them. Because that 4v3, they were able to just completely flip that. Oh no. Well, looks like we got a squid party coming up, folks. On Tower Control Mako Mart.
We're gonna have to check some connections here. This is going a little bit haywire.
Was that AZN that disconnected once again?
I believe so.
I believe Totorobot is on the case there. He is currently checking in with the team right now. We'll see if we can get some updates about what is going on with that team currently.
While we do that, DRF, how can the Squid Kids that are out there watching the stream get involved with the CCA?
Yes, we have, K-Bot had talked about this just a little bit previously, but let's go ahead and elaborate that on a little bit more. So as you see on your screen right now on the left-hand side, there is a Discord link. You could go ahead and click on that Discord link and join us in the CCA server. We are an absolutely friendly community, a bunch of amazing people here, regardless if you're a college student, alumni, high school student, just not even in college at all. We will welcome you with open arms. How our events do cater towards college students, but anybody is welcome to join us. We do have a lot of other fun casual events, private battles, league sessions, salmon runs. We have all sorts of plans in the works right now, so please come on in, join us for a good time. But if you are a college student, there is plenty more that you can do as well, including things like our first tournament here that you are currently watching right now.
Which there will be many more of. We are certain to be producing more events of different varieties, such as ones that are focused on having full teams from schools, ones that are focused on more casual side of things. We will be brainstorming lots of activities to keep things fresh and to keep things interesting for these collegiate squids and kids.
So I mean, the dream at the end of the day is to be able to actually, hopefully one day, develop a league for college students here, but we still have a long ways to go before we get there. So if you do know other college students that happen to play this game, please reach out to them and invite them over to the CCA server. We would love to get to know them, and we would love to start to develop, well, as Organic Ink from the from San Diego State University said, develop chapters of the CCA server. We are now a fraternity.
This is Rush Weekend.
It is Rush Weekend, so come on in. Join the organization. Have a good time.
Speaking of San Diego State University, they did not have any club or any infrastructure set up before this event, and they already have 9 people that are interested in joining and in representing their school in the CCA server. So they have enough to start something of their own in their own college, thanks to the the push that we've started from this organization. So if you guys are interested, you can definitely start something up at your own schools, and we will encourage you and help you in any way you can. But anyways, back to the match. Let's see if we're going to see something great on Game 3 from ITAP.
Yes, and I've already seen Monster John coming out with that Luna Blaster.
Oh,
You know that that's a staple with Monster John and Tower Control whenever he plays with this UCSD team. So definitely always excited to see that. That is a one true pairing right there between Monster John and the Luna Blaster.
We also see a double armor composition coming out from ITAP, trying to pull a UCSD on UCSD. But unfortunately, 2 going down on the side of the Boilermakers, and we see a Stingray in the hands of Ewang, coming out now to try and stop this push after getting past the first checkpoint, but not taking down any members of UCSD. Oh, there goes down Mofugami, and I believe AZN as well. So,
but the push is still going. They're just trying to chip away inch by inch here, but it looks like they're finally backing off.
That they are. You see a little bit more yellow paint come on the ground, and Fizzywit's getting taken out, but Monster John is sharking! Finds Ewang, and is starting to come back for the other members of ITAP now. Gets another one before going down finally, but that's a huge tear in the defenses of ITAP. They're going to have to play very well if they don't want to get completely collapsed on here. Gay winning a great trade thanks to the splashdown against AZN, and now there's a man advantage for ITAP. A lot of yellow paint coming down. Let's see if they can't get a push going.
Yeah, and one thing that I would definitely like to point out here is that UCSD has a bit of a backline now. UCSD's been infamous for just running very short-range comps. So now seeing them play with Fizzywits. Fizzywits is a new member of the team. For those that are not aware, we typically play with our friend Yuko. But Yuko is actually a Cal alumni, or I should say UCB. If you are from the UC system, you understand that UCB is quite the meme right now. But yeah, because there was like a whole thing about
There's
how
a whole Reddit post.
you should refer to Berkeley as UCB or whatever, but Fizzywitch is actually a UCSD student, so they elected to go for the full UCSD lineup to stay true to the name for this tournament.
I respect that completely. Even playing with the new player on the roster, they seem to be doing well. Fizzywitz does get taken down, unfortunately, but it seems like UCSD still has that great coordination that we've seen from them time and time again. And as we talk about coordination, let's talk about how Monster John is leading this push, leading the charge, just tossing out so many shots, so much pressure for UCSD. Unfortunately, this tower does get stopped. Monster John is still being a monster, a menace for this ITAP team, not being able to get cleared out of their side of the base, and unfortunately getting taken out. That's a splashdown jump coming in for ITAP, but it's looking like he's going to get collapsed on one more time. Monster John!
Wow!
Oh my goodness.
Monster John with the third kill there. Can't Monster John be stopped? He's going for one more here. Oh, we get the assist on that one. But UCSD gonna go ahead and start to take away more points on this tower here. Gonna be slow and steady push here as the Stingray comes out. AZN trying to juggle back and forth on and off the tower. It's a 3v3 currently. Both teams just trying to make something happen here. Monster John finally gets taken down.
And now we're going to see a little bit of breathing room on the side of ITAP. Let's see if they can't get some paint down. Let's see if they can't get a couple of picks. But there's just so much zoning capability from UCSD. They found Mofugami hiding in a corner. And oh my gosh, that was a great fizzy bomb!
Take him down!
Take your soda with you!
Down.
That's a soda machine standard staple from the Kenta sloshing machine, as we saw from Gay taking a great pick and leading this push to get 2 down for UCSD. Unfortunately, nothing is able to mount up, as it seems ITAP was just scattered from the scattering of that push.
Yes, and we see Monster John here already starting to apply a lot of pressure once again. But with only 40 seconds left and 2 members down on the side of ITAP, they're going to have to make something happen here. It might just happen to take a miracle, but we saw previously that in that last setup where Tidepole managed to come at least make a really scary push in overtime, even though it all seemed even though the whole match just seemed like it was over. So let's see if ITAP can pull something similar here. But they do have one member down once again. Monster John trying to make something happen with the baller. Oh! Getting one person down, but Monster going down himself.
Monster John was able to just clear up just enough time for his teammate to come back, and unfortunately they stalled out just enough for Triton to take the second game of their set. We're going to game 4, and it's match point for Triton. This is for the top cut spot. This is everything.
Yes, top cut and a chance to stay alive for that $100 prize pool, which is so gratefully sponsored by all of the staff at the CCA.
It was something that we decided to do kind of last minute, but we figured that we want to reward people for helping us, for supporting us, and for bearing with us during our first tournament organization event. And so, we decided to throw in a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully this will, you know, get the name out there a little bit more, draw in some more people, and then perhaps we could, in the future, see more teams, more players, more colleges represented. That's the dream here. So, hopefully we can see that in the future.
That's the hope, that's the dream, and right now it's looking not too much out of reach.
Yeah. So we already have 4 full university teams, and I know that there's actually a couple more out there that can form complete teams. We've seen a lot of activity from Florida. We have a couple of their players represented today, I think. But we don't see a full team from them. And also UC Santa Cruz. Shout out to them.
Really?
I know that they got something going over there. So they weren't able to join us this weekend, but I believe, I actually had talked to the director of the Splatoon team over there. They said they weren't going to be able to make it for this weekend, but they would definitely try to make it for future weekends, if I remember correctly. It might not have been them, but I know they definitely have a team, so we'll love to see them come out for a future tournament.
And honestly, if they're at least in communication with us, that's all we can ask for. Speaking of communication, what do you think is going on in the mind of ITAP right now, down 2-1 in this potentially tournament set for whoever loses?
Yeah, exactly. So ITAP, what their communication is going to be key here, because I know they're not playing with their most traditional lineup, with Mizuno having to exit the tournament a little bit early today to attend to other matters. So we see a sub from Yellow, also known as Yellow Ninja, here. So it's going to definitely be a little bit shaky for Purdue, but the key thing is communication. Just keep talking. Productive talk is going to make the difference for them.
I agree completely. So for those who don't know, I do coach the ITAP team, and they do have some struggles with their communication, with their game plans, essentially. So we've been working on that a little bit. Let's see if it comes to fruition on a map that I know they can perform well on Rainmaker Humpback. And already 2 going down on the side of UCSD, but getting traded back thanks to Mofugami getting a nice double kill, tossing out the rain, and ITAP's going to try and make a little bit of a run for it here. Monster John already waiting in the wings, and 2 jumps getting taken out, and that's a full wipe for ITAP because if they jumped in. Let's see how much UCSD can take off of this potentially damning swipe situation.
And Azian looks like he's going to try to go for that left push there. Definitely a little bit tough to do to just get around that initial wall there, but they're able to just stop him right at that choke point there. That's definitely the risk you take by trying to push this one left, but if you're able to do so, definitely sometimes teams don't really expect the push coming that direction, and you're able to do a lot of damage.
Did Mofugami just roll with the Rainmaker? Did I just see that correctly?
I think he rolled into the Rainmaker and it carried on.
Gay once again putting a stop to this push, but not before UCSD takes the lead. And there's 3 up on either side now as Gay tries to take away a little bit of way of distraction from the Rainmaker. But this Rainmaker's in a really bad spot for ITAP. They can't get a good stranglehold on it. They're trying to pop this Rainmaker, but no dice. They don't have the funds. They don't have the ability to pop it. A hammer gets thrown right into the Rainmaker, and they pick it up. I don't think that was on purpose. They're dumping it off now, trying to get some little bit of breathing room, trying to get a little bit of space as the Stingray comes to an end on the side of ITAP. Let's see how much paint they can put on the ground, or at least try and turn things around.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely that's part of the risk of taking that luck push there, is that you have a pretty quick and easy access for the other team to just get over that little wall there and just start making a really solid push. But we look to see
That's the wipe!
Oh my goodness, that turned real quick.
That was damning. Damning from Triton. Saying, alright, we've had enough fun. It's time for this set to end. Winning out and moving on to the top cut is UCSD.
Wow.
That
Excellent job by UCSD. I am very proud of them. Those are my people right there. Good game, Magic. Good game.
Good game, DRS. Oh. Alright. Well, that will be the end of our Swiss rounds for the CCA Rush Weekend. Thank you to everyone who was able to compete so far. We will be moving on to a top 4 cut, and we will be taking just a short break while we set up for that. Thank you all so much for watching thus far. We will be back very shortly to continue with top cut. This is Magic 8 Ball.
And this is DRF. This is my last time here. So next time up, you'll see Magic with K-Bot, hopefully.
Signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Welcome back to Rush Weekend here at the Collegiate Cephalopod Association. We are in top 4. We are in our top cut bracket after that Swiss stage. Got an exciting match coming up. Of course, my name is K-Bot. I am joined by Magic. Should be a good one here between 9+10 and Triton.
It really should. This set did happen before once in the tournament during the Swiss stages, and Triton was able to take a game off of 9+10, but these are some very high octane players from the wider community of Splatoon, and so I'm expecting to see some very stellar gameplay on both sides of this match.
Yeah, of course, Triton Splatoon representing the University of California in San Diego, and this side of 9+10 being a pickup consisting of a bunch of different college students all across the nation. And I believe 1 or 2 in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
I think that's the case.
Yeah. I believe Call of Flame and I believe it's just Call of Flame is from the Great North, as some would say. The Great North.
Close enough. So yeah, should definitely be a good one here, of course. We're very familiar with both of these teams. You've seen Triton Splatoon in the previous set on this broadcast. And of course, 9+10, familiar names. You've seen Kreese. You've seen Chris. You've seen Whoop. You've at least seen Beepo's art on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you've seen Cola Flame around for a while. So definitely should be a good one here. Excited to see exactly how this goes. And as you mentioned, was already played out in Swiss stage. We'll see if these two teams learned anything about one another previously as we head on to Clam Blitz Piranha Pit.
Triton going for a very aggressive stance once again. You're seeing the double end zap, double armor, and a Kensa Jr. coming out from Triton. And some pretty mid-range, chip-heavy composition on the side of 9+10. Starting off here on Clam Blitz Piranha, it's a very long, wide map, so you're going to see a lot of scrappy fights. It's not very close quarters, but you see grouping up on the side of 9+10 as some specials start to come flying to gain control of this mid area and some clam economy. Let's see if Triton can make a move.
We'll have to see when they exactly decide to continue pulling the trigger and moving on forward. So we see Beepo here on the Bamboozler is going to go ahead and pick up one. It's a 2-down situation for Triton, which should allow this push to come on in. It is going to be one going down for 9+10, so they have to be a little bit more careful, and they don't exactly have all of the clam follow-up that they might potentially want. There's only one member there, but a nice double is going to be picked up as more clams are finally going to come on into the basket. We're starting to see a little bit more pressure applied for the Rapid Blaster, but actually not as many clans as I was expecting this time around. Down to 71 is 9+10.
That was a fantastic stop from Triton. They were able to, even though 2 of them went down initially as the push started coming out, the 2 players that were left were able to, pull together and put on pressure together to take out the opposing team from really getting anything going, as we see Triton firing back with a power clam and some specials into the enemy basket. We see another power clam come in, and that's the lead for Triton. 3 up on the side of 9+10, and we don't see a lot of yellow ink on the map, and Chris goes down as well. The basket unfortunately closes before Mofugami could come in with some more clams, but that's still a great push from Triton. K-Bot, that was some just clean gameplay.
It was very clean on the whole. I think, again, in an ideal situation, you would have liked to have seen more coming on board, but a good start there coming in from Triton. We'll see what the response is coming in from 9+10 as they're starting to slowly build a couple more clans. We're starting to see Whoop come on board with this Nautilus. It's going to pop the baller, try to apply a little bit more pressure. Is going to be able to find one, and you're starting to see the skirmish power of the Nautilus. You're able to shut down people not only from afar, but also a little bit up close thanks to a relatively large charge time and that rapid fire rate once that charge does come through. We are now seeing the lead is going to change hands here on over to 9+10, but that is going to be the push. Still halted there by Triton. Yet again, the defense holding before things get out of hand.
Again, that was just nipping it in the bud as 2 players were just as the whole of UCSD was able to collapse on the players that were grouped up from 9+10, but unfortunately, as they were pushing out, it seemed like Whoop was able to respawn and get a couple of picks with that skirmishing Nautilus, seeing him get in a sticky situation and jump out, but was able to at least save his special and save some of his teammates from a little bit of pressure, as again, UCSD nips a push from 9+10 in the bud.
To be fair, I mean, there wasn't really that much plan follow-up to begin with of that push coming from 9+10. I don't really know that that was meant to get completely and entirely out of hand, but it is worth noting that putting that extra Fire Flame in the basket technically gives your opponent the chance at another colloquially defined pity clam, which is another power clam that spawns when your own barrier goes up. So there's a couple right now on the map for Triton. You see they're already built up to 28 clams, as now they're going to start to unload those. Wow. They're going to be able to take the lead here now, and they're going to find the follow-up, as there's no other paint control coming in from 9+10. Down to 8 right now is Triton. They're looking for a couple more clams, and you can see they're doing a good job at maintaining ink pressure. Whoop is trying to win this 1v4, but you're not going to be able to do just that. At the very least, you're able to stall things out. You're able to make sure that clam pressure does not continue, and at least the game is going to hold on. 9+10 has a chance to come back, but right now, it's all Triton.
That was some fantastic plays from Triton, as we saw the specials get coordinated and the bombs come out, as you're seeing right there, to shut down any defense that stands in the way of their power clams. And there's 9 clams in the hands of Triton coming in from the other side, and it looks like that power clam is taking the ink rail. Is there going to be anybody there to stop it? It looks like it is, and the basket is going to close. There's 10 seconds left on the timer, and that power clam is still in the hands of Triton. But 9+10 mounting a push. Whoop finding a great pick off of that ink rail, and UCSD goes down. That's a full wipe. There's not enough clams for a power clam, it looks like. No, the power clam despawned on the other side of the map thanks to a trade, and that's going to be the game.
That's the game, and I think that's the nature of pickups there coming in from 9+10. Perhaps not all being on the same page, perhaps not going back to that power clam to try to, continue building out that pressure, pushing together as a team. Some symptoms of being a pickup on the whole and just not fully being on the same page. But well done there by Triton, showing on the other side their coordination, able to shut down a lot of those pushes, able to remain on the same page, and at the very least, able to keep up constant pressure, able to keep up constant map control, and shutting down a lot of those types of things that 9+10 were going.
That was fantastic play on the whole. I mean, like you were saying, there wasn't a ton of synergy. There was a lot of scrappy plays, like from Whoop on that Nautilus, and from Beepo on the Bamboo, using those curling bombs to get fast pushes going. But on the whole, it seemed like UCSD was able to just use man advantage and their swarming nature of aggressive playstyle to really overwhelm 9+10 and take that game pretty convincingly.
Pretty convincingly on the whole, yeah. And so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this continues to play out, as we're now loading onto Tower Control Wahoo World. A little bit more of one of those open maps. Where do you think this is exactly going to go, or what do you expect to see here, Magic?
Judging from what I saw in the last set, I know that UCSD and is going to be opting for that aggressive play style. We might see Fizzywits go back on something like the Heavy Splatling remix to shut down some pushes and to get a little bit of long-range pressure, as that is good on Wahoo World during those initial pushes. But I also think that being a pickup, 9+10 has a lot of flexibility in what they want to do and in what they can do, and if they are able to come up with something that has a lot more firepower and has more paint, I think, then we could see a very explosive gameplay that shuts down what Triton is trying to do.
On the note of paint, of course, Triton came out with a bunch of it last time around, and actually we are going to see a switch over to the Luna Blaster, opting for a little bit less paint and instead opting for a little bit more chip damage on the tower. So definitely something that's going to be interesting to watch as we move on forward, as we don't get to see Luna Blaster too much in high-level competitive play.
No, we do not, but we saw it come out earlier from Triton against ITAP, and that Luna Blaster is a menace in the right spots, but unfortunately going down there as, well, he was not in the right spot, and 2 going down on the side of Triton, and this is looking to be a mounting push for 9 plus 10. A 3rd going down, and there's a lot of yellow on this map already. We talked about paint control, and it looks like Triton's going to have to fight for a lot of that paint, and even the Stingray gets taken out. K-Bot, they're going to need some specials to stop this push.
Luna Blaster sitting in the wings here, waiting to approach this tower once it gets to the 2nd checkpoint, but is immediately called out here and can't really do a whole lot from given the lack of paint support from the rest of the team coming in here. Is going to be able to charge up the baller and at least gets 2 around the tower, halting that push. But again, already down to, what is that, 26 points for this yellow squad of 9 plus 10. And look at this, the pressure is continuing to mount. They're continuing to move on forward, getting a couple of picks. That's a double coming in from Polar Flame on the Rapid Blaster. That was a clip, my friends, and that's going to be another push coming in from 9 plus 10.
I think that Triton has stopped playing because they realized that a disconnect happened on to Fizzy Wits. Unfortunate stuff coming in. Again, UCSD ravaged by these disconnections. We're gonna have to do a little bit of TO things right now.
Ah, yes, my favorite. TO.
K-Bot. Are you happy to not be TOing right now?
I mean, it's an 8-team tournament versus a 103-team tournament is a little bit different, but someone has to make these difficult decisions, and I suppose that I'm glad that I'm not the one doing it today. I just get to sit back and watch some fantastic Splatoon put on here by the Collegiate Cephalopod Association. Of course, if you're new around here, first of all, welcome. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. The Collegiate Cephalopod Association is a group of squids, kids, and octolings that have come together to share their love for Splatoon. They are all college students and alumni, and we'd love to have you come on by if you are a college student. Of course, you see the Discord link on screen. We'd also love to have you come on by if you are not currently a college student, maybe thinking about college in your future and just want to be involved on the whole. Of course, you can also see the Twitter on your screen. That is at CCA_Splatoon. Come on by, drop a follow. The folks over at the Collegiate Cephalopod Association have been putting in a lot of work to get things ramped up for you in the world of collegiate Splatoon. So absolutely fantastic stuff to see. And it's only starting off with his first Rush Weekend tournament. 8 teams came on board to play today, and excited to see where the rest of this tournament goes. Of course, if you're just joining us, we are currently in semifinals between Triton Splatoon and 9 plus 10. You might recognize some of these players that have been around in the competitive community for a little while longer. But I hope that I've stalled at least enough for Magic to give a definitive word about what happened on the last game. So go on ahead and take it away.
So our replay rules do state that competing teams may not have a remaining score lower than 60, scored more than 40 points, and that push was definitely going on towards a very low number. So unfortunately, that match will not be remade, and we will have to move on to the next match. The next game in the match, with the game going over to 9 plus 10.
So already 2 games in the bag, 1-1 for both of these sides. And Rainmaker, Sap, or Canal is the next one we see here. Rainmaker, certainly one of those things that's can be quick moving, especially if you're deciding to run it right up the gut, right on up street. Of course, Rainmaker is one of those more creative modes where teams can get a little bit more creative in terms of their pushes. What do you expect to see here, Magic?
I expect Triton to have a very explosive start. I'm not sure how their defense is going to mount in the face of this mid-range pressure, which is going to be a huge advantage, pushing up those slopes towards that. If they do opt for a mid push, as you were saying, those mid-range fights are going to go in the favor of 9 plus 10. If what we saw from the last 2 games with that Kensa Rapid Blaster with the Nautilus does come out again, and that is what I expect to see. But I think that Triton could have a great start, and if they hold on to it, they could take home the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, of course, if Triton can maintain the sort of defensive pressure that we saw on Clam Blitz even, on Piranha
Right.
Pit, perhaps that they can come on back in this one and fend off a high-scoring push from the side of 9+10. But of course, we'll see now as we hop on into the game. It's battle time between these two teams. We're down to an effective best of 3 in semifinals of the inaugural Rush weekend between 9+10, a pickup, and Triton Splatoon representing the University of California at San Diego. Should be a good one here as we move on forward. I think that is a Stingray main weapon that I'm seeing on the side of 9+10.
That custom jet squelcher that you see from Depot is going to be turning out a bunch of Stingrays to stop the pressure safely from this UCSD team, and I think that it's already mounting. Look at that, 2 down on the side of Triton. Monster John able to find a nice pick on the Rainmaker before anything crazy happens, and coming back to find his team taking down another member of 9+10. This is looking like it could go back in the way of Triton. K-Bot, that was very solid play from Monster John.
Solid play from Monster John and the rest of Triton Splatoon, but they're not really capitalizing on the opportunity. It's going to be Fizzy that's going to be picking up this Rainmaker, but has that Stingray. It's not going to have that available. Is able to pull off that play with the Rainmaker, catching one off guard. It's another 3-down situation for 9+10 as Fizzy is going to continue pushing on forward with this Rainmaker. Bomb is going to come on out, and now is struggling to get on the platform. The chip damage from the Rapid is going to stop this at 1, but it's still a 3-down situation for 9+10. Triton should probably start focusing on the Rainmaker, but they're going for the Firefight instead. It's AZN that's looking to try to continue popping this, but is not going to be able to do just that as only a 1 squid army, and it's going to be forced back on down. Going down, that's going to be controlled back on over to 9+10, but the effective knockout coming in from Triton Splatoon means that it's going to be a long hill to climb for 9+10.
Speaking of a long hill to climb, especially when there's a Stingray in the way. Wait, did that Rainmaker accidentally get pushed off? It must have, because that Rainmaker did reset in the face of that Stingray, and 9+10 getting a little bit of in control back alongside help from their specials, and now they're looking to do exactly what Triton did to them. Unfortunately, 3 going down. Another great stop by Triton. They're very solid on these defenses.
Very solid on the defensive again, and I think potentially a little bit of that can come in when you're a little bit more coordinated as a team, right? When you have been playing together for such a long time, that Triton has, you're able to have a decent semblance of what each player wants to do, what each player wants to focus on when you're looking to make those defensive stops, and especially that comes in clutch when you're trying to paint a map as well in order to shut down some of those pushes. We do see Whoop going down here to Mokugami on these custom dually squelchers, now trying to dash on down, get a little bit more work done, forcing this Inkstorm out for the rest, or to apply a little bit more pressure here. But right now, 9+10 severely on the back foot. They need to start coming together to make a play to push on in here because the map is nearly completely perfect.
9+10 tried to make a little bit of a sneaky play going onto this ledge here, right beside the Rainmaker, but unfortunately one did get taken down, but Whoop was able to scrap it out and get saved by his baller to try and make some room for 9+10, but again, just getting sniped out by this custom dually squelchers in the hands of Mofugami. They don't seem to be able to make enough of headway, especially in terms of man advantage, which seems to be what they're going for, to try and make a solid push. They need a little bit more paint, they need a little bit more stopping power from these specials, but working with 2 ballers is not easy to do when you're trying to mount a coordinated push. 1 going down, 3 going down on the side of 9+10. That's a full wipe! And UCSD is making light work of this 9+10 team in these pushes. 1 going down, and K-Bot
Defense pulls. Fizzywood's going to go ahead and pick up this Rainmaker. I don't know if pushing it's the right option, but it looks like that's what UCSD wants to try to do. Fizzywood's the last one alive right now for this Triton squad. Is going to try to push this forward, but that's going to be the delayed wipe going back the other direction. It's going to give 9+10 a little bit more paint control on the map here on the whole, as you start to see now coming in from their side as they're now picking up the Rainmaker. We do see the Ink Armor is up and ready for them to go ahead and move on forward. As a matter of fact, there are 3 total specials on up and ready. I imagine the baller is going to be popped here. Try to get a little bit more of an opening for this side. 9+10. We are going to see Fizzywods going down here. That's going to be the Stingray that's no longer online. Stingray here for Beepo is going to go ahead and get taken out with that Rainmaker. 30 seconds remaining. It's a 2-down situation on both sides, but actually only 1 left alive right now for 9+10. Trying to pop this Rainmaker, trying to solve for time, trying to get these jumps coming on in. And right now, Triton is not popping this Rainmaker barrier. They're finally starting to focus on that. They aren't going to get the pop, but there is going to be enough time stalled for 9+10 to come back in here. 12 seconds left to go, but in control is all in favor of purple around the Rainmaker. The Stingray comes on through. He is going to go ahead and get one, but the Rainmaker is picked up and goes down nonetheless. Chris goes down here to AZN. That's going to be the complete wipe, and that's the game for Triton Splatoon.
Triton with a fantastic show of defensive prowess, not letting up when a Stingray and a lot of paint was coming right at their faces in a very close space. They spread out, they did what they need to, and created just enough time for Monster John to get clutch picks right at the end. That was fantastic team play on the side of Triton Gaming, and this is looking like it could be an upset for Triton Splatoon.
Also want to call out there, Monster John, 20 splats and assists on the NZAP. Well done there, of course. Again, there's an asterisk because there's the Ink Armor, but that aside, putting in that much support for your team, whether that is through the Ink Armor, whether that is through getting your own splats, certainly huge for that team and what allowed Triton to come out on top. But we're now heading on over to Splat Zones on Gobi Arena for Game 4. Set point for Triton Splatoon here, Magic.
It is set point, and I think that considering what we saw from the defensive side of Triton Splatoon, if they're able to make a little bit of headway and get 9+10 on the back foot, Gobi Arena is a map that you can lock people out of, especially if you get control of the upper platforms right before the zone. And I think that Triton knows exactly what they need to do to win, and that's exactly what they're going to be aiming for.
Been a large part of the ink control game so far in a lot of these games. And as a matter of fact, in most cases, it's come out in favor of Triton in those clutch moments, right? When we're looking at the ink control around the Rainmaker, when we're looking at ink control underneath the Clam Blitz barriers, those types of things are ultimately what has netted Triton the victories in some of these tense moments. We'll see if they continue moving that momentum as we now focus on literally paint the area on the map for the objective.
And not to mention that with the compositions we've seen from 9+10, they haven't been extremely paint heavy. We know that the Nautilus can paint some. We know that the Crapid does have a little bit of an ability to paint at a range, but there hasn't been too much focus on controlling the paint. So we'll have to see if 9+10 can switch up their strategy. And it does look like they're going to, as we see an Explosion come out and a Blob Lobber Deco on the side of Triton. Some very fun weapons from the Slosher class on both sides of the map, and we'll see if people can use this canyon-shaped map to their advantage.
Not gonna lie, really do enjoy the Blob Lover on this map. As a little bit of a blob main myself, you're able to apply so much pressure on the map if you get in the proper positions here, especially chucking those blobs up to the opponent's flat. We'll see if that plays in favor of Triton here as we now turn our attention towards the zone to start things off. It looks like both these teams actually contesting this a little bit early on. Triton seems to be getting control, but it's actually going to be a nice double here coming in for this player, this NZAP. And that's going to be a little bit more control heading on over to this yellow side.
Call of Flame with a very quick play, getting two nice splats, one aiming up and one as the player was trying to find that revenge kill. But unfortunately, He just had the awareness and the wherewithal to stay back and wait for them to come into his waiting arms. Holoflame on this end zap has been putting out so much paint and so much kill potential, and it looks like it's going to stop UCSD once again from taking the zone. Oh, never mind, I spoke too soon. That's a bomb rush and a quick cap for the Triton Gaming. And although there is a big point deficit, points go very fast in Splat Zones.
Points do indeed go very, very fast. You have to be fair to that game. As a matter of fact, cannot exactly nowhere from 9+10 was able to apply that penalty as all things for sure. Able to right now. Again, see exactly how this comes together. Triton is going to need to play the defensive game on this zone if they want to continue building up this push.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They're looking to take a little bit more aggressive position here. Unfortunately, one going down on the side of UCSD as there's an armor coming out from 9+10 and the Nautilus pushing in. Zone goes back on the side of UCSD with 2 ballers coming in, and that's the cap for 9+10 and 3 going down. Monster John, the only one left alive, trying to build some armor, trying to salvage what he can, as unfortunately unable to walk away with the lead, but did have his life.
At the very least, has that. As now it's 9+10. And in control. The e-commerce is at the ready here for Monster John. We'll see exactly how that continues to have an impact on the map. As a matter of fact, we see a couple more specials getting popped. That's an Inkstorm as well. Coming out on top of this zone, we have to see Triton start to step forward here soon as the penalty points have now expired, and it looks like they're starting to apply those penalty points here, but they just need a little bit more ink on the zone. They're not able to find it. This cap goes back the other direction, finally able to find that. This is a 2-down situation for 9+10, able to take back control of this zone, make it a 3-down situation, but now only 2 members on the map for Triton. They have to be careful that they're not overextending here. They also want to continue applying a little bit more of that paint pressure in front of the zone.
Something I want to bring up is that Monster John did a fantastic job of knowing when to stop going for some picks and when to go back towards the zone to get some important paint control, because that could be the difference between a win and a loss at the end of the day. Right now we see Whoop on a little bit of a solo mission towards the enemy base, unable to find anything with it, and now another of his team members going down. Monster John on this end zap, trying to put a little bit of paint and pressure on the zone. Beepo trying to save her life and get a little bit of paint down with the baller. Nautilus coming back and taking out 2, and that's going to be huge. Triton now on the back foot as one more goes down, and this zone is back to yellow. So much back and forth we've seen recently, but there's only a minute left. If this keeps going back and forth, this is going to fall into the hands of 9+10. We're going to see a game 5. K-Bot, what can Triton do?
They have to continue pushing together as a team. They have to make sure their specials are charged up, though, before they do just that. There's a lot of ink around this zone. Whoop gets 1. Now the penalty points have worn out for 9+10. The bomb rush is coming back on his zone. Baller as well to try to force some of these members of Triton back. Another pick for Whoop. Another pick for Whoop. Make it a triple. But that's going to be Whoop going down. It doesn't even matter because the rest of the members are there to clean up the zone for 9+10. And we're going to a game 5.
Game 5. And Triton unfortunately unable to clutch out this game as they have the last couple. It just didn't seem like they were able to contest that zone as much because of the funneling nature of Gobi Arena. I thought it would work in their favor, but it seems to be working against it. But now let's see if they can't turn things around.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly, what comes out here. We are going, for game 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's Clamblit's new Albacore Hotel. This is interesting on a lot of levels. So, first of all, it's worth noting that the barriers are a decent ways away from mid in this case. So, unlike Snapper Canal, which we saw much earlier, this is going to be a little bit harder to build up those pushes, and it's going to take a lot for a push to actually be made, especially when you do see those high scoring pushes, you're going to hope that they are indeed high scoring once there are actually pushes that are going to be able to be made. And then, of course, we know that New Albacore Hotel is just a range map in general, given that those there are those, I guess, kind of like rivers, right, throughout the entire map. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what these players come out with in order to kind of make sure that they have the advantage on the map as a whole.
I would think that excuse me. I would think that Triton is going to be pulling around the same game plan that they did for Piranha Pit, because this map does work in the same fashion. It has a very remote basket location, and because of that, we're going to be able to see Triton when they're pressuring 9+10 as they're on these higher ledges. They're going to be using that bomb pressure. They're going to be using their aggressive playstyle to try and pick off members of the opposing team that's trying to stop their clan pushes. But it looks like they're going for a bit of a different route, it looks like.
Interesting here, we see the double NZAP double splatting coming out of 9+10, and then there's a little bit of that extra range on Triton with that 96 down, as opposed to an additional NZAP or something of that nature. Already a jump coming in from Whoop, but it's going to be immediately traded out at the very least. It's going to be a 2-down situation actually for both teams, as we're going to continue seeing this play a little bit more neutral. As a matter of fact, now with that splat, it's going to be Triton that has a little bit more control of the middle of the map. They want to try to build up their clan economy to make sure that they can continue pushing forward at a later time. But they have to be careful of this left side. As one starts to push up, there's going to be one going down in mid, and they just gave that one away.
They really did, and especially when you're trying to control this clan economy, you can't be going down like that. Your lives are as precious as the clans in your hand, and if you have more than 4 and you go down, only 4 will respawn. So this clan economy is going to be very important, especially when you're considering how scrappy these teams have been in the past couple games.
Definitely going to be interesting to watch as Chris here trying to build up a little sure that he has that incomer ready for his team, but now comes the power clamp coming on in, but it's already a 2-down situation for 9+10. Whoop is trying to get in a couple more clams, but there's going to be no further coming 9+, only down 8.
That was not a great
but
push.
Also given this map, needed a little bit much.
That wasn't a fantastic push. There seemed to be not a ton of backup clams coming in from the side of 9+10. You do see them being able to get these headed pushes. You know, they are able to make headway, but they're not able to really back themselves up, as some players just go down at very inopportune times. And even though we see them having such dominant plays in the past couple of games, it seems like now it's going to be going toward the side of Triton. This UCSD team taking control once again. There's not a ton of blue paint on this side of the map, but Monster John seems to be confident heading forward. Popping ink armor, trying to get his team into the enemy side of the map. Goes down from the long-range pressure of the double splatling composition, and it seems like there's just not a ton of headway to be made on either side of this map. It's very tough to get in against these heavy splatling defenses.
And that's exactly what we pretty much expected coming out of New Albacore Hotel, right? It's going to be difficult.
It is going to be difficult. I think K-Bot...
Especially when this middle of the map is as contested as it... sorry, I know I'm having a little bit of Wi-Fi issue.
He cut out one more time. So, we're going to be seeing specials coming out from Triton, trying to get these bubbles to make headway in the middle of the map, and Whoop, unfortunately, trying to take a step forward, but takes a step back in terms of pressure for his team. This Booyah Bomb coming out to help out with the skirmish in mid, but it's not able to net much. It does net 1 kill, but it is a trade. Splatling fight on the right side of the map to try and make sure that they can't use that far avenue towards the enemy base. But Fizzywitz is able to get the kill on the Beepo. This could be very big, as now they don't have too much in the way of pushing towards that base. Another one goes down on the side of 9+10, but 9+10, Color Flame is able to play a sneaky play with Chris, and they were able to stop the push from Triton thanks to opening their basket. That was a great awareness play from Chris and Color Flame, and that could really set the pace for the end of the game. There's less than a minute left, and Hollow Flame and Chris could have just sealed the deal for 9+10. Another power clam going in, not going to net much points yet, and 3 going down on the side of 9+10. Hollow Flame able to come in, gets a little bit more.
That's gonna be it. Okay,
Oh.
so now you need, if you're Triton right now, you need 3 power clams plus an additional clam, right? Did I do my math right?
Right, yes.
That's right. 3 power.
3 power clams and
Come
an
back
additional
from this
clam.
one. 2 clams to their name, right? I'm sitting back. It's actually a 2-down situation for them, so this could allow for the window of opportunity. They need to build up a couple more clams. They have 3 clams. They have the 9 on the other side.
Triton able to get a couple of picks.
That is going to go down. Triton's able to get a couple.
You see, he passed it forward. Wait a minute, he doesn't have one more clam.
He misses for the time being. There's no. Yeah. That
Mufagami's racing against the clock right now.
is going to try to come back in. Jump's going to try to come on through, but that is time, and that is going to be 9+10, walking away with that one.
They snuck it right out from under UCSD's noses. That was the most ridiculous play I've ever seen from a Clam Blitz match, and I've seen some Clam Blitz. That was fantastic awareness on the side of 9+10 to end off that crazy semifinal set.
Going from the push, race to your basket, not only, but okay, once we have built up that push, figuring out exactly what.
While we figure out K-Bot's connection issues, we are going to cut to a small break, and we will be right back for Grand Finals. Stay with us, we will be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Weekend here at the Collegiate Cephalopod Association. We're in grand finals now between two pickup squads consisting of college students. Of course, my name is K-Bot with hopefully Wi-Fi that's going to be stable. I'm joined, of course, by Magic. We were with you last set, or I was half with you last set. But
Somewhat.
we're back here. It's grand finals between 9+10, the team we just saw, and between Rainbow Sparkly Unicorns on the other side, a team consisting of entirely collegiate students from the United Kingdom.
It is, and this is a pickup that actually formed pretty last minute. In fact, both of these were, but we're not going to get into it. And we're really glad that they did because they've shown some very solid competition across the board. And this set right here is going to be hopefully a showcase of that and what the collegiate scene can be capable of in the future. And so, we have the Unicorns from the UK, and we have 9+10 from the States. So this could turn into a bit of a rivalry in the future. It'll be interesting to see.
We'll have to see, of course, where this one continues to progress. But game one, we're going to Splat Zones on Sturgeon Shipyard. A little bit more of one of those balanced maps. And I imagine this is going to be something where the backlines are going to come in crucial here, Magic.
I agree wholeheartedly. We saw Beepo in the last set really have a crucial role in that heavy splatling role, sometimes picking up the bamboo. And so because of that, we're definitely going to see the backline presence from those higher areas, from those vantage points, try and rain down some pellets of ink onto the enemy team as we get into this first match here in grand finals. If you're excited, please let us know because this is going to be a great set. And here we go. Double zap from one team, and we see an interesting comp in Terra on the trademark tent on the blue.
I mean, if you expected something different from Terra, I don't know what, like, Terra was going to play the Tenebrella, especially on this map.
100%.
Given that you can do that, put that Tenebrella right on top of the zone, as he just did, able to come in there and take care of the complete zone for your team. But with an early 2-down situation, it's going to give the person advantage to 9+10. Terra's going to get caught off guard here in the corner. It's going to be the last one jumping away, and that's going to be the early cap and an early advantage starting to mount for 9+10.
And we see the paint coming down in droves here as we see 9+10 who had a very solid strategy trying to get some picks here. Bomb able to catch one, possibly two, and even footing and one special up on either side of the map for these teams. Terra able to respawn now, and Cauliflame looks like getting another aggressive position, trying to pick out Terra with this end zap, but Terra able to maneuver perfectly around Cauliflame's shots and get the nice splat as he moves into the enemy base with the special in hand.
Once again, that's the signature of a trademark Pentabrella player right there in Terra's maneuverability around that canopy, able to land the shot when it matters the most. But it's a 2-down situation right now for the Unicorns. They have to be careful now as Melbo tries to step forward, but is going to get pushed on back here and taken out. It's a 3-down situation for the UK team, and now it's going to be all 9+10 yet again. Probably going to wear through their penalty here and threaten to extend their lead if the Unicorns aren't careful.
Exactly, but the Unicorns unfortunately having to go down a little bit at trying to jump across that bridge and getting caught out by Whoop, right, like swimming into action and jumping forward to try and get that pick. That was fantastic play from Whoop. Terra already back though, and Whoop is pushing in, trying to shut down this charger with the bomb rush, which could be very crucial to the coming back in. There's 20 ticks left on the timer. Specials are not charged on either side except for one bomb rush, and that bomb rush is being put to the test. There's one on the zone for the side of the Unicorns, but only one person standing, but it's looking like it's not going to be enough. They weren't towards the zone in time, and 9+10 going to take this game with a nice defensive stance.
Very nice defensive stance. It seems like anything that the Unicorns were throwing at 9+10, it was able to be handled, right? Whether that be the Tenebrella, whether that be just like two shooters trying and to run on up there and get well done there. It's 9+10 to shut down those potential those potentials for pushes coming in from the Unicorns. I'd like to see the Unicorns play a little bit more as a coordinated and cohesive unit moving on forward. Use such
Yeah, no, I
for
agree
a couple
completely.
of their members to step forward.
No, I agree. It seemed like they were able to get a couple of nice solo plays, some solo picks, but we saw how Chris and Whoop were trying to move in together towards the enemy courtyard, past the higher vantage points, and were able to do so successfully and get a lot of yellow paint on the ground. And Whoop on that Nautilus is just firing at everyone in his path and able to really take hold of that game almost on his own, but thanks to the help of the teammates who were able to shut down people with him and put paint on the ground to support him. That was very good play, and like you said, great team play on the side of 9+10.
Well done, and now we're heading into the true final destination
I agree.
here.
Final destination. People have called Walla Warehouse the final destination of Splatoon maps. And K-Bot, why is that?
A little bit more flat in nature, and it is very narrow. It's control on the map in specific ways.
And we're
This
getting
side of the Unicorns, we'll see what the response is from.
the Unicorns do have a bit of an advantage, especially with the Tentombrella on Clam Blitz. We see the Tentombrella come out from flex players on this map anyways. We're not going to see it on the side of 9+10, but Terra opting for something a little bit different, trying to get a little bit more aggressive in his weapon choice, trying to see if he can't help his team be that centerpiece that he needs to be for the team in getting those important picks and those important plays and staying alive as much as possible thanks to the mobility of the duelist sculptors. You're going to see armors come out from both sides in a firefight here in mid. One going down as the 2v2 in mid gets traded out 1-for-1. Melvo backing up now, but it looks like the Unicorns are going to go 2 down, and there's not a ton of clams on the map, but 17 in hand for 9+10. The Stingray comes out from this Jet Sculpture, and one returning on the side of GeoCube. But trading out, and one more going down on the side of Unicorns. Terra in a sticky situation. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to survive, but is somehow still able to. But Chris is able to find his way up to the basket. Call of Flame jumping, that's 2 power clans in to the basket. That was a great play. One more jumping in on the side of 9+10. Whoop! Dancing around that crate towards the spawn, and that was a fantastic set of pushes from 9+10. K-Bot, are you with me?
I don't know. Am I with you? That's something that you're probably gonna have to tell me. I don't
Yes,
think
sir.
I am.
No, you're with me right now.
Maybe?
Yes.
Maybe I'm here right now. Okay. I've just been staring at my speed test so far, and it's not been too Come on over here, as we are going to see a push coming in from the Unicorns. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's going to be a complete wipe, and so the
The power clam's coming in. I think he left me again. So, we just saw a very nice set of plays, and Melvo trying to go for this last clan to get the lead. 1 point meme from the Unicorns. Unfortunately unable to get the lead. 2 minutes gone in this game, and we already see that the scores on both sides are past halfway. Some very solid pushes on either side. It seems like it's going to be whoever can take these neutral fights and positions.
Hey, good evening here. I'm Coach Robot. Let's see. Alright, getting onto the screen here. Oh, it's 43-42, really, really close here.
Totoro, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty chill. Really excited with the turnout for this first tournament. So, exciting grand finals. Let's see. They're not going to get quite past that buffer there, but it is going to lower it, so maybe the next push will be better.
Indeed. It seems like these neutral exchanges are going in the way of 9+10. It seems like when they do get the chance that the Unicorns are able to make a very strong push out of what they have, but it seems like they're not getting a lot of those opportunities because of the surge.
Cutting the score. Okay, yeah, another one in for 9+10. they get past the buffer, but good job on Unicorns for stopping that.
Now that was a fantastic stop. You know, they put down the paint. They made sure that they used their specials to their best of their abilities and were able to put out enough pressure to stop that push in its tracks. And 3 going down on the side of Unicorns once again. Totoro, this is going to be a very hard push to stop. There's already 15 clams and a person in their base. So much bomb pressure and paint pressure coming out. Hall of Fame unfortunately going down again. This could be turning around for the Unicorns. There's no jump coming out. Whoop was able to bait out the push from the Spid on the Unicorns and get a kill, and now getting 2. Whoop is a menace on this Nautilus. Going down.
Chris has been doing a really good job of sort of sneaking around to get to the objective, so Whoop was waiting around for a jump, but with a power clan, you're kind of just blowing there and you're a sitting target.
Yeah, exactly, but maybe they can use that to their advantage as Whoop did, because he knew that they were going to come after him with that power clan as Chris is sneaking into the base, but this time Whoop is going to get shut down, and there's not a lot standing between the Unicorns and the enemy base. Here comes Call Flame Spid, unable to get the trade. One going down on either side. Chris looking to sneak around to that basket again. Gio knew! Gio, with the call out, was able to take away Chris's potential to push.
30 seconds left. Unicorns need one good push. This is not a guaranteed victory by any means from 9 of 10.
And they have
so much to happen. This is likely going to overtime, but can the Unicorns get a score? That's the big question here.
They need to make some headway. They need to use their specials and try and prevent this very explosive 9+10 team from doing just that and exploding. But it looks like they're exploding in the enemy paint color. Melvo with a nice ink armor, trying to push forward, getting taken out unfortunately. Now there's a Stingray standing between Gio and that basket.
Watch here.
But Tara was able to get to the top right side, able to jump in. Gio gets the clam in.
Wait, we're scoring. And Unicorns take the lead.
That was a fantastic play from Tara right when he needed to, was able to maneuver his way into the enemy base and get exactly to the position for Gio to jump. That looked like overtime was about to end, and he snuck in there with the power clam and a couple of picks, and that was the game. Great stuff from the Unicorns, showing that they're not down and out just yet. Great stuff.
All right, well that brings us at 1-1. Super exciting. That game was so close. Neither team giving in and then just really good job by the Unicorns breaking that defense last minute. Not even last minute, overtime, past the last minute.
Yeah. It was really the last minute. Like the 11th hour, if I'm being quite honest. They came back for it.
All right, so this next match we have on Tower Control Starfish main stage. Thoughts on this map mode combo?
This map mode comes down to, I believe, one key component in particular, and that is control of the snipe on either side of the map, depending on when you're pushing or defending. If you have control of that middle platform towards the side of your base, that snipe area as we like to call it, you are going to be able to prevent pushes very easily, and you're going to be able to bolster your own pushes if you have the advantage on the enemy snipe. So I believe that it's all about getting that control, getting blaster kills around the edges, getting specials up there and bombs to prevent people from staying there, and so controlling those power positions just like that one, I believe, is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And on the other side, in thinking on the offense, I really think it comes down to clearing that first checkpoint. Once you clear that first checkpoint, things tend to snowball, but it's a really easy map to defend on that first checkpoint. So keeping that lookout point under control is really where the everything's gonna sort of determine how teams are going to be able to hold their defense or whether they're going to push on to victory.
Exactly, and we're getting right back into the game here, Game 3, as we're going into the last set, Grand Finals, and an even set so far to start off this set. Unicorns from the UK and 9+10 from the States. Let's see if they have if they're able to get an advantage in this game 3. What are you seeing here, Torobot?
So here, it seems like there's going to be a range advantage over on the side of I'm not sure. Wait, I'm taking a moment to realize which one's which color is which team.
Unicorns are the blue, and I believe it's 9+10 in the yellow.
Yeah, 9+10 on the yellow. So seeing the Nautilus over there on with 9+10, I think is going to be. I think that's going to be key here for them to, if they're able to keep that advantage on the lookout. Should be. I think the range advantage is going to carry them here for defense. I think the defense is a lot more clutch on this map compared to the offense.
I agree completely, and like we were talking about those power positions, if you have the range advantage to take over those positions, especially with something as nice as a sloshing machine, which is able to get up over those ledges that people like to hide on, then it's a lot easier to push forward and push in on this map. And we see the splashdown coming down from Spid, trying to push forward, trying to make some headway for this tower, getting to the first checkpoint, and Whoop sliding in from the side and able to sideswipe Geo cubed. Terra trying to take back the tower now, caught in a baller. Unfortunate, but that was some great awareness from Whoop because the team was focused on the other side of the map trying to push the tower.
Chris sneaking over on the other side to see if he can get something out.
Ooh,
Yeah, this Stingray is going to help Pincer. Oh, apparently not. Okay, that was a really good push, even in the face of a Stingray.
Oh, that was great play.
Big stays alive.
I can't believe that as many people stayed alive as they did during that push. I mean, 9+10 had all the cards in their favor, but Unicorns were just dipping and dodging and diving as much as they could, able to maintain that push at least for a little bit. Now, looking like it's resetting in neutral, seeing what happens, looking like Terra going down on the Kensa Rapid Blaster, and it's looking like a push mounting for the 9+10 pickup. The tower is being pushed by Beepo with that Stingray in hand, and we see the other Stingray come out.
Stingray is coming out, and that's going to stop the push, yeah. Someone's forced to jump back on yellow.
You would think they had the awareness to have Beepo off the tower or in a position to counter that Stingray with one of her own, but unable to and having to jump out. That really put a damper on that push, and now the Unicorns are coming back around. This Terra on the Kensa Rapid Blaster, able to put so much pressure from behind corners. And now we see both of them fighting at once, putting so much chip damage on each other, but never finishing off the kill.
War here.
It really was. The tower getting to this first checkpoint, not able to break through it because of the Stingray on Beepo's side. Colorflame pushing up with this Kensa Rapid Blaster, fighting the sloshing machine, able to find the baller. Spid dancing around, finding some nice spots for cover, but unfortunately getting outspaced, and now there's 2 down on the side of Unicorns, but they do have a Stingray in hand.
The keywords for this match are blasters and Stingrays. Oh, that was a good snipe from that ledge. Good job by Dio.
Wow.
Gets 2 quick picks there. And, I mean, this is definitely not a solid lead by any way. This would go there's a minute and a half, and neither team has gotten past that first checkpoint.
Exactly, and we were talking about those power positions. It seems like they just aren't able to control it. And understandably so, because of specials like this Stingray.
Yeah, barely escaped the Stingray. Although 9+10 having the blaster all the way up near the base, that's a really good position. And surviving the Stingray allows for them to get to the checkpoint. Are they going to be able to take the lead? They do take the lead.
They do. Whoop was able to swoop back onto the tower, trying to save Beepo, unfortunately unable to, but at least able to clean up the kill and take the lead. Now they're moving on to the second checkpoint. This could get really out of hand really quickly for the Unicorns. Unfortunately, they nipped it in the bud, but there's 3 members up. Never mind that, 2 members up on the side. 1 member up on the side of 9+10,
well,
and this
now
could be a
they're looking
push.
on the ups for Unicorns. Can they get past that first checkpoint and take the lead? This is really their last chance. It's not overtime yet, but it may as well be overtime.
Exactly. The Stingrays are now charged on either side. Let's see if they're able to have a Ray War. There's so much in the base of the 9+10 team right now, able to get to that first checkpoint, but somebody was there to snipe out Geo.
And the Stingray.
The Stingray comes out trying to prevent Terra, able to hop on at least for a little bit, try and tank the Stingray for a little bit, and now there's 8 seconds left. This is pushing towards the checkpoint. This is pushing towards the lead. It's only 10 ticks left. They need something to go down onto the tower. There's some bombs that happen, and one able to get on the tower.
9+1 takes it. Or 9+10.
They were clutch on that. They knew exactly what they needed to do for their win condition, stayed in the corners and threw some bombs right at the end just when we thought it was over to sneak into that tower while the chaos was happening and stop that push from going down. That was fantastic coordination on the side of 9+10. And so we are at tournament point.
Ooh. Yeah,
4
blasters, stingrays, and ballers galore.
Exactly. So, what else to see?
Game
But
4,
Rainmaker.
Rainmaker Black Belly. Oh boy, this is a pretty exciting match. This is an exciting combo, I think. A lot of things can happen really quickly. It's what I tend to see on this map is teams going for the diagonal, and if they can get a good wipe, it can just entirely open up the path to victory really quickly.
Excuse me, thank you. Yes, that was exactly right. It's such a turbulent map, as I like to call it. It's very back and forth because there's so much room to work with, and because there's an acceleration factor, essentially. There's so many shortcuts and ways to push the Rainmaker that if some go down, it's a small enough map that you could easily take it back and find a lead right when anyone thought you couldn't.
Yeah, I think that this one in particular, when each team can get a good push into the opponent's zone, it's really hard to come back. Partly because there's no way to reset the Rainmaker.
Right, exactly. There's no way to jump it off. You have to kick it out of your base. And if it's stuck there, it's stuck there. And because this is such a skirmish-based map, it's very close quarters. You're going to see a lot of short-range weapons. It's all about getting the picks at the right time. And we're seeing Spid get a couple of them getting traded out. 2 going down on either side, and we see the Stingray jump back on the side of Unicorns. They're on the back foot right now.
Yeah, they're probably wait for 9+10 to pick up the Rainmaker and then try to counter that with the Stingray. Well, what that means functionally is that they have one person out of the fight for a couple of, well, until they use the Stingray.
Right, exactly. Geo, it looks like, was not pushed up as well. One going down on either side for these teams. Beepo getting saved by the armor, but no, Terra was able to finish it off with the Nautilus kill. That was a great...
49, which is that's recoverable. But there are 3 down on 9+10 side, so it's not like there's a huge numbers advantage on Unicorn's side, but now there is with everyone just jumping in and Terra can just mow them down.
That was some tactical feeding right there.
Yeah, that's one way to just come back.
Cauliflame unable to find anything. It looks like they're just funneling in right now. Terra with this Inca trying to get some quick picks, trying to be that aggressor that we saw in the Clamblitz game. The Stingray coming out and Geo trying to swim through it, trying to go for the lead, unable to find it. Stingray still up, and there's one other person up on the side.
Numbers advantage still is on. Yeah, numbers advantage is still on Unicorn's side, so they should be able to get the lead here.
And some great space made by that splashdown, and the lead was able to be found. Terra going down. It's 2 versus 2. And 2 go down on the side of 9+10, thanks to that great... on the side of Unicorns, thanks to that great play from Luke.
Or on 9+10 side, yeah. You know, like, good stop. They immediately go and pick up the Rainmaker, and then using the Stingray to clear the path, but... There's a lot of chaos going in here, and it looks like there was the sloshing machine catching out the Rainmaker there. Good stop there.
Looks like there was a flank or something from the side of Unicorns to try and take out the members in that half pipe, but unable to find it. Chris coming up into the base and finding Geo Cube. That was a fantastic pick, and now it looks like there's only 2 people standing between the Rainmaker and the lead. Spid trying to be the last man standing, unable to, and it looks like this Unicorns team is desynced as 9+10 is running for the Rainmaker pedestal. The Stingray coming out from Geo Cube trying to find those last stragglers in the base. This Rainmaker not popped, thank goodness for Unicorns. This There's a
This is
lot of
looking
yellow
like
on
it
the map,
could-
though.
It could turn towards the tournament point and the victory. Can Unicorns reverse this?
Whoop with a great
looking
play!
Like 9+10 still has the pressure.
It looks like they do, and Whoop just keeps finding picks to kill.
There it is.
That was fantastic. GeoCube finally swinging forward, trying to get something going onto this Rainmaker that's just sitting in their base.
Desperately here, and this Stingray is going to be pretty helpful for clearing the way. Although lots of good defense and preventing the pop.
Oh, those missiles.
Unfortunate timing.
That was great missile usage though from Melvo, trying to find a couple of picks on this K-shot. Able to, one jumping in on the side of 9+10, but it's only Beepo really standing. Whoop finally now back in the fight. There's a Stingray coming out. Beepo jumps back, and Whoop gets taken out. Finally, it looks like there's some breather room on the side of Unicorns, but that ate up at least 3 minutes of the match. There's only 1 minute left, and this is tournament point for Unicorns. They need to make something happen.
Yeah, 9+10 they don't need to rush anything. They have a really massive lead here, and there's only 1 minute left. They can take this slow. They just need to play defense at this point. I mean, in order for Unicorns to take this, they do need to get an entire team wipe pretty much against 9+10, and we'll see.
Oh, and it looks like they're about to go for it.
That.
Oh, unable to. Terra getting taken out on that Inkjet just as he popped it. Unfortunate. It looks like there's only one left standing on the side of Unicorns. 30 seconds left, and this is not looking great. It seems like they have all their members back up now, and using the missiles to try and go in, try and find something. Spid able to help out his teammate on the Kenta Slashing Machine, able to find another pick. Rainmaker does reset.
So they have one more chance here.
And another going down on the side of 9+10. This could be what Unicorns needs to turn the game around. There's not a lot of paint for Beepo to find that Stingray, and is unable to before this push happens. This could be the tournament push. If Beepo is able to stop it. Beepo goes down, there's no Stingray. Whoop also goes down, who's been so critical. Color Flame trying to find the push, and there's a right on the side of 9+10, and they're able to get the lead. This is going to Game 5.
Oh wow, yeah, I love Game 5 sets. It's all so exciting. That was, as I said, they needed they needed to wipe the entirety of 9+10 in order to make that push, and they pulled it off. Why all these overtime upsets and turnarounds are just so many today.
Terra was absolutely critical on that Nautilus 79 with the Inkjets, with the picks, and was just able to help them at momentum so much on the side of Unicorns. The linchpin in this almost looked like a crumbling team was able to stand up to the members of 9+10. And I could not have asked for a better set.
Be like a turf war more right now.
No.
Zones, Mako Mart. Okay.
Splat Zones on Mako Mart. This is a very, very important. This is an important map mode for people to practice, for people to study. I mean, it teaches you the basics of how to perform lockouts and how to break through them. This is a map mode that teams love in competitive play from the general competitive play of the Splatoon community, and so this map is so back and forth because people know it so well. I'm excited to see this.
Oh, it stresses me out how back and forth this map mode combo is. That whenever I get into solo, I'm like, I have to get into a mindset, embrace myself for it, just because of how chaotic it can be, and with how back and forth and scrappy both of these teams have been. There's going to be a lot of. I expect there's going to be a lot of back and forth in this final Game 5 tournament match, tournament point set.
And we're getting right into it. Game 5. Is everyone excited? Because this is for $100. This is for the crown of Collegiate Splatoon, our first ever tournament. Who's gonna take home all of the glory? Let's find out. We have the unicorns in the blue. We have the 9+10 in the yellow. We see the bamboo coming out. We see Nautiluses on both sides and GeoCubed on that fire fin. A lot of blue paint, but also a lot of yellow paint from the double NZAP composition. Two going down.
Oh, 2 down on 9+10 side. So Unicorns get control first, and now we have Color Flame just trying to run away. and unable, gets shut down by Terra. So aggressive Inkjet here to get
Oh
pressure.
my gosh, and it takes out Chris too. There's so much pressure already coming out from Unicorns. It looks like they were so prepared for this match. Beepo trying to pull out the missiles, getting stopped, and this counts already towards 50. 9 plus 10 needs to make something happen, or else this is not going to last for as long as it should have. Armor coming out from both members, from both end zaps on the side of 9 plus 10, trying to get something happen.
3 on each side in terms of head count, so I don't know if that's enough for 9 plus 10 to get onto the middle.
It looked like they had some coming in. They had a little bit of paint coming in, but it's only Beepo left. There's not a lot standing between Unicorns and this game 5. This could be it. There's one jumping in, and it seems like their last-ditch effort. Unicorns is able to take it, and they are your champions. That was so clean from Unicorns.
Yeah, even though we were talking about this being a back and forth, that was just a clean 100-0 by Unicorns. Really excellent control and sort of maintained pressure. Good job. This was such an exciting tournament. Really, really glad for the turnout that we had today.
GG for both teams and for all of our 8 teams that played. Thank you so much. This was so much fun to watch, so much fun to present to everyone, so much fun to commentate, and thank you for filling in for K-Bot during his unfortunate collapse of his Ohio State internet.
Emergency commentary.
Excuse you, I'll have you know that it has nothing to do with my internet access, has absolutely nothing to do with my university. Thanks for playing.
We'll see that next time when you actually join the tournament, K-Bot. Oh!
All right. There were some incredibly exciting matches today. I'm really, really excited with the turnout we had. Like I knew we were going to start off smaller, and I was only expecting maybe 4 teams or so, but getting a full set of 8, that was so much more than I could have hoped for, and I'm so glad to have seen that today.
Man, I'm floored. I'm so proud of my team, the team that put this together. Thank you so much, Totoro, DRF, K-Bot for joining commentary. I want to give a special thank you to Kira and Jolteon and Mizuno and Adam, and especially EJ for putting together these beautiful graphics. Thank you to everyone for making this possible.
Thank you everyone who put in so much hard work in getting this set up. Keep an eye out for our future events. We're hoping to get this to be an entire tournament series to promote Collegiate Splatoon. For those of you in the chat who are watching who didn't play today, try to find people at your schools. Let's get teams together and let's get more collegiate communities started.
Please. We saw it from SDSU, we saw it from UCLA, and because of this tournament, they're finally starting to get some teams together. So we want to see that. We want to see more of that. So please join the CCA. Come help us out. Thank you so much for being here to support these teams that have formed in the wake of this tournament, especially for some of the teams that had their first tournament. This was a great introduction, I feel like. All right. I think that's enough from us. I think the people have had their fill. The winners on the side of the Unicorns will be getting $100 to split between them.
Well, okay, we better go with the full team names. The Rainbow Sparkly Unicorns.
The Rainbow Sparkly Unicorns. And we will be in communications with them for sure.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. See you next time.
I'm Magic 8 Ball.
I'm Totorobot.
And thank you so much, everyone. Catch you all next time. Peace out.